them all. See what happens.
Hello, hello, hello.
Test?
Hello, hello. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it, right?
No.
Yeah, I can hear myself.
Nice. Welcome, everybody. On the stream, we have solved the issues. Anyway,
We're good, right?
apologies very much for that. We are on air. We had many technical difficulties with that, but we have been unmuted. You can hear our lovely voices. Welcome to the first of many, hopefully less technically challenged Merlin Mondays. It is Monday, and I am Jarl Carl, but I'm joined by Merlin, completing the Merlin Monday trio. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, Merlin Monday. I'm excited to be here casting for Style Esports every Monday, and I am excited about this game. This Glacial Nebula team is from my division, so we went up against them earlier in the season, and unfortunately fell short. And I am glad that they topped our division and have a shot at moving up to the next division, taking on RGM tonight. I think we should have a great game on our hands. I hope they've got some smart picks and bans planned out for both sides, and I have to say I like some of the bands coming out. We've got a one-trick Ez on the side of RGM, and it looks like that has actually been taken away by RGM, strangely enough.
Yeah, taking it away. It is a very strong first pick, though, so that is something to watch out for as well. Ezreal is very, very strong at the moment, so something to watch out for in your games. A lot of AD carry bans coming through already, which is, you know, a little bit interesting, as AD carry is not always the most prominent role, but bot lane focus, very heavy, 5 of the 6 bans, and then that Volibear picked up for Yasuka in the top lane. This was a pro-drafted game, so the picks, I should say, might be a little bit out of order here, so they're just picking their own champions, so pay no heed to the seemingly strange order that we have going on here, but I do like the Volibear in the top lane. Very strong pick. A lot of professional play on that champion right now. Going to be answered by the Malphite in the top lane, something that they can just kind of try to survive against him and tank it up.
Yeah, I like the Volibear pick. Just super strong on the current patch, and as you get a little bit of experience with him, he is an oppressive champ. He ignores turrets, really allows dives to come through, and they've paired it with it looks like a Graves in the jungle. And I know this was pro-drafted, so you can't necessarily see it, but he's also flexible. So sometimes it's top, sometimes it's jungle, and just having him in the first round of picks can really throw an opposing team off. I like the Glacial Nebula bans. They obviously did their research. Between Leona and Zyra, the support for RGM has 213 games this ranked season on those two champs combined. Also, the Mordekaiser, a very strange ban. Oh, right, this was pro-drafted, but that is a target against this Maxwell. He is a Mordekaiser main with 100 games on that champ this season. Looks like it's shaping up to be an interesting match, as we just saw the Yasuo bot lane. What do you think about that, Carl?
I think Yasuo bot lane is very annoying because I play AD carry, and AD carries do not like this pick. I find it very frustrating to play against. It's amazingly oppressive. It does a lot of damage, and also there's a lot of knockup assistance for him in this game. Nautilus has 2 ways to help him with the dredge line and the depth charge, as well as Malphite ult, of course, is that main combo. So a lot of help here for Shadell in this game. That's something to watch out for as we get into it. It's just this wombo combo. It could be quite strong in the late game. You know, it just takes one big Malphite ultimate to really flip the script on any team fight. You knock them all up. Huge Yasuo ultimate. If he has 3 items, he's going to rip through everybody. Blast Pro especially going to need to be careful not to get caught in that unstoppable force, or I think he's just going to be taken out. So I do like the Yasuo pick. Apparently it's going mid. We had a switch, so ignore everything I just said. It's going to be Cinderbot. Another very annoying pick. Somewhat less so, though. She does have a little bit more burst than Yasuo does, but you can at least trade back on her, right? She doesn't have that shield. She doesn't have the wind wall, so there's a little bit more counterplay to Cinder, I think, as opposed to Yasuo, especially in the early levels as an AD carry.
Yeah, I think the Yasuo mid makes a lot of sense, and it is going to be a highly volatile lane. We're looking at Echo Yasuo, and I think that's not heavily tilted one way or the other. Echo does have a little bit of range to his farming. If he can land his skill shots and get his triple damage proc bonus damage off, he might be able to get the upper hand in lane. Talking about the jungle matchup, we've got farmy champs on both sides. Hecarim and Graves both prefer to full clear. I think that there's going to be a lot of action mid-bot. The Syndra lane, I think, is interesting. I think that there is certainly potential for them to chain CC with the Nautilus dredge line, notorious for having such a wide hitbox. And I really think both junglers really should be, it's not very common, but start top side and kind of work their way towards the bottom. The Malphite Volibear, it's a kind of a tanky lane, kind of farmy. I think Volibear does have kill pressure, so it's possible that Graves could work his way up there. But in general, I think that your focus is going to be really on that mid lane or the bot lane. Mid lane in particular has the potential to snowball out of control. 2 kills by either of those champs makes the lane pretty oppressive to play in.
Yeah, it certainly does, and it's, you know, one of those mid lanes too where both of them are very mobile, and so they're able to really help out their junglers if they do come in for a gank. You know, Genji Ninja and Aliuna, a little bit different in the way that they want to gank. Graves just kind of runs at you. I guess it's the same, they just run at you, but Hecarim has a lot more ability to help out, right? So it's kind of going to be Genji Ninja taking the lead on the ganks, whereas Echo is going to have to take the ganks on the side of Glacial Nebula with that stun, whereas Hecarim just can, you know, E and use the ultimate ladder crowd control there for Heater to follow up with, whereas Aliuna has, you know, essentially no crowd control. Sure, the smoke screen is a little bit annoying, but for the most part, she's just going to be running in there and hoping to hit Yasuo in the face with a shotgun, whereas Yasuo has a little bit more help from his jungler for those ganks. But I do agree, a couple kills in either direction can make the solo kills just come through. Pretty much no counterplay, too. Echo has that ultimate if he gets ahead to, you know, just allow him to dive towers super easily. Yasuo, the Echo ultimate just won't matter very much if he gets ahead. He's just going to go right back, and that's going to just kind of be curtains for him. So I think really this is the lane to be focusing on, especially if you are these junglers. Top lane is just kind of a farm fest, and the bot lane, you know, it could be volatile, but you don't really need the junglers to help that lane fight each other.
Right, I totally agree. I will say that no matter what happens in lane, Malphite Yasuo is a disgusting combo, and if he can land that on 2 or 3 squishies, and quite frankly, a lot of Glacial Nebula is squishy. I think that can be kind of a game-changing moment, game-changing move. So even if RGM doesn't get a lead early on in the game, I still think they have a lot of potential to kind of just turn a team fight and flip everything over once they get to the team fight portion of the game.
Will be very interesting to see how those combos work out. But for now, we're going to throw it to a very short break as we load into game number 1. Don't go away. Style Esports returns on the Rift in just a few. go back into the game. Welcome out of the Rift, everybody, for game number 1 here between Glacial, Nebula, and Royal Griffin Majesty. We're on to the Rift. We see a bit of a 4-man stack here. Yasuka could be in some trouble. Gonna dodge the... Oh, actually, burns the flash. Not sure he needed to do that, but better safe than sorry, I suppose, on that one. He gets himself away, but I was gonna say, this is the promotion relegation match between Ionia and Piltover. So Glacial Nebula from Piltover looking to promote into Ionia, and RGM would demote down into Piltover if that were the case. I am Yarl Carl alongside Merlin for this Merlin Monday.
I love it. They invaded level 1. You've got to do that when you've got a hook champ who's strong level 1 or a team comp that will support it. And taking a flash, that can be a big deal. You've got to, track those flash timers. If RGM can get a gank through to the volley bear without that escape tool, he is much, much more vulnerable. You don't have to spend 2 ganks to get a kill. That early flash is just huge. So I really hope they take advantage of it. It does look like both junglers are starting bot side. I really thought that we would see a top side start to optimize so that someone could choose between mid or bot in order to do first gank, but they are both starting with conventional starts because they can't do without their leashes. Need that leash for that good clear, I guess. But we will probably see some fireworks either at Scuttle or topside or mid at this point. Once the junglers kind of make their way around, that's where the action's going to be. I think it looks like Yasuo has the early push advantage, which I think is pretty standard when he's up against a melee champion.
Yep, able to just throw those Qs in there, get the tornado, a lot of AoE coming through from him, so he does get the push. In the bot lane, Blast Pro and Adrena going to be pretty scared of the engage coming through from Shadel and Devout throughout this game, I would expect. That is not a lane you want to be fighting early as Twitch, although, of course, Twitch's late game is legendary, so going to have to just try to scale up and survive the best they can, at least until level 6 when they might be able to get something done. But I think that lane is going to be pretty much left alone. I do agree. I think mid lane is the place that we're going to be fighting a lot. Over the Scuttle, topside could also be the selection for these two teams. Would make a lot of sense for them, and I think these junglers will meet at some point, although right now Genji Ninja well ahead on the clear.
Absolutely. We had Graves go red, Wraiths, and then Krugs. And that's putting him way behind. He is already a camp behind, and Graves is like a notorious, incredibly fast farmer. But the Hecarim is really farming much, much more rapidly. Nice trade by the Yasuo mid lane, proccing the Conqueror just for that last little bit of damage. And it looks like Hecarim has a 5 camp clear out on the top side, looking for this wraparound gank on the volley bear, which is perfect, who's pushed into turret. Let's see if Malphite can support the gank and if they can get a kill on this flashless volley bear.
There's the ghost coming down. Yasuka not aware of the gank. Now he is. Stun lands onto Smaxwell, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get himself to safety still. Does not have flash actually from that level 1. Forgot about that situation. Smaxwell, though, very low. Oh, that flash could have been his doom if he had it, but he does not. Genji Ninja picking up first blood in this series. Going over to RGM.
Really nice, and I like the way Hecarim scales. So that first blood, I think, is going to be important. Going onto the jungler, probably more worthwhile than going on to the Malphite. And then, I wish he just rotated in and gone for the Graves. Graves was able to sneak out that first scuttle, so Hecarim's going to path to the bot side. But even though he got a successful gank off, Hecarim still has a farm lead on that Graves. I don't know why his clear just wasn't very strong. But Hecarim is going to secure bot scuttle, and he's actually got a reasonable wave position if he wants to try and engage bot side afterwards. Mid looks like the waves are kind of positioned into the middle. Topside also did a nice job pushing out the wave to turret. That means that Malphite's going to get a bounce back. It does mean that there's a small window while Volleybear is going to be level 4 and he's going to be level 3 until he picks up a couple of those minions, but it means that Volleybear will be vulnerable again to potentially another gank.
In the mid lane, Heacher threw the Ignite down on a gentleman Joby, who had to flash himself to safety, so Summoner's traded, but a little bit longer cooldown on that flash, of course. The Echo going to have to get himself a little bit of a recall, teleports back to lane. He should be just fine, but went in for the engage and suddenly found he was getting more than he was giving and had to flash himself out of that one. So maybe a little bit of a miscalculation here. Is down about 10 CS as well, although collecting Summoner's turrets, we should be evening that up just a little bit here as Heacher going to get himself a nice recall, I should say. Probably come back with some attack speed, maybe the boots. Yep, there they have been purchased up. As that Infernal Dragon is now also on the map. Genji Ninja pathing away from it. Aliuna might be able to sneak this if she walks up there straight away. Ginja Ninja looks to be kind of ignoring this one for now, but early dragons sometimes can be hard to solo, especially if the bot lane prio is so unclear like it is right now, kind of just held in the middle. If that bot lane comes over, if the other team starts kind of sniffing it out, you can find yourself in a world of hurt really quickly.
Gidget Ninja did some interesting things. So after he got a successful gank done and took bottom Krugs, he ended up taking Raptors away from Graves, which I don't hate. But this is a really long recall. Like he's 37 CS, finishing his second set of his Krugs, and he has not yet recalled. So it's going to be a monster buy, but he's really got to make something happen with it. Because right now they're kind of 4v5 on the map with a jungler who hasn't reset and not applying any lane pressure. And on the flip side, Glacial Nebula has a lot of wards protecting that bot side and protecting any easy early drakes. I wanted to also point out on the top side, Malphite not getting pushed in, of course, that's what we would expect, but he has fallen a little bit behind, 10 CS at this point. So that first kill, not going to hold back the Volley Bear for long if he's able to kind of keep farming and get his gold that way. It looks like Hecarim is going to path to the bot side, but I think the ward coverage is really, really good. He's going to have to scan and come back before he can really make anything happen on that bot side, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to solo out the dragon anytime soon, at least for now. Hecarim, not the greatest of dragon soloers either. Not like a Lee Sin or an Olaf. Takes him a little bit longer to secure that objective. You were talking about the top lane, however, the Volibear up there, yeah, doing quite well for himself. It turns out Volibear is really strong. So even though he died level 1, doesn't fall too far behind. Not terribly far behind. He's actually ahead in gold over Smaxwell thus far. So despite that assist, that CS lead is going to be enough to overcome that for him. And he's just a really strong fighter, right? He just does more damage than the Malphite does. And so Malphite's kind of just doomed trying to fight him over and over again at the top. And he would have required, more than just one gank to actually come up with a large enough lead to really just win the lane for himself. He got himself a little bit of gold, got his jungler a little bit ahead, but isn't able to get a whole lot more than that. The mid lane, Gentleman Joby going back in onto Heater. Eliona is in the area. Heater pretty low. Has flash available, has to use it to get away from the ultimate from Gentleman Joby, though. On the side, Dragon was secured by RGM.
Yeah, I think that camping top would have been totally viable. Instead of spending all that time running around and farming, a repeat gank really would have set that Volley Bear behind. Again, probably wouldn't have won lane, but a fed Hecarim is nothing to sneeze at. And I think you could have gotten Hecarim fed on that top lane. We now have a level 6 Malphite. Level 6 Malphite means you get to kill kind of anyone on the map. It looks like he was roaming mid, and I kind of would have liked it there. I think they can probably zero out an Echo before he has a chance to ult. RGM did pick up first Drake after bot lane did their first recall. They went ahead and had a pink ward prepared, and Hecarim and the bot side ended up taking it as 3. RGM also have nice ward coverage. So I would say that this bot side might become a priority for them. But I do hope they use that Malphite ult. I feel like anytime you have a giant ult like that and it's not on cooldown, it's being wasted. You want to get that thing out on the map, use it as much as can, pocket the gold, pocket the pressure. And if Malphite just stays topside for the next 8 minutes and doesn't use his ult, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Yeah, it's one of those really high impact early game ults that you always want to see use, kind of like a Twisted Fate ult. It's like if you don't use that by level 10 or so, like what are you doing, right? You got to use that early. We might have to hold that thought. Blast part in the bot lane. Level 6 has been hit. It's level 6 for GN, not for our GM. Shadell has to flash himself away. Heal has been used as well. Devout going to be just fine. That shield makes him very, very tanky, but that's a successful play, you have to say. Both summoners blown for this Syndra.
Yeah, that's probably worth, but they've got to get a repeat gank, and I feel like that's pretty safe. Here it goes on the top side.
He's going to be fine. Yasuka walks himself out. Has to use the flash in the ultimate, but he does survive. Ginja Ninja and Smax will both use that ultimate. So that first unstoppable force did not have the impact that we were looking for here. Ginja Ninja going to have to go reset as well. A lot less gank priority for him and his top laner without those ultimates being available.
Absolutely. I don't know why you wouldn't try and use that mid or bot. Here we have another engage on the bot side.
Devout landing his dredge line straight onto a minion. Not what he was hoping for after that depth charge went out. A little bit unfortunate. Not what they wanted in the bot. They are not going to be able to pick up any kills there. Eliuna going straight in onto Ginja Ninja. Has her team to support her. They're running towards Yasuka. Smaxwell does not have that ultimate. Remember, Ginja Ninja going to be falling first in this fight. Heater and Smaxwell are there, but no mana on this Malphite. Pops the Corrupting Potion to buy himself a little bit more of that resource, but it's not going to be enough for any meaningful spells. Heater now has to run himself away. Double buffs now on Gentleman Joby, who did pick up that one kill. This lane could get quite hard for the Ospo at this point in the game as GN fights back.
Yeah, and the Echo was also able to get a little bit of a CS lead. And certainly having double buffs on Echo is going to feel really, really nice. Just constantly throwing out that Qs without having to worry. The potential for being able to roam, and he should be able to hit some decent items. So far, he'd only bought Amp Tome and Dark Seal, no like completed partial item yet. But that kill with the farm that he's been getting will definitely be enough to kind of boost up, get him to a big power spike. We'll have to see what he's able to do with it. So nice play by Glacial Nebula. They are now up 700 gold on the map. And I think are kind of transitioning from what was a little bit of a hesitant start with the Volibear early flash level 1 and the gank death. We'll have to see, how the mid game progresses. We've got another Drake up in 136. Certainly you can give away 1 or 2 early Drakes, but you want to be careful because once you get to that third, Dragon Soul is definitely a win condition for any team. And RGM so far has the first one.
Yeah, second Dragons always does feel good, and it just provides a lot of tempo later on in the game, especially if you are able to get to 3. That can be a big point of power. I'm also hearing in the chat. Yeah, there we go. We have the items on screen for you now, so you can check those out. Thank you so much to our lovely host who is working with us today. First day on the job, so don't be too mean in the chat there. Shoutouts to Ewok365. You might have seen him around on the Shadow Mustangs Unleashed. Shoutouts to him, but we are going to have to hold that thought fight in the bot lane. Twitch trying to run away. Blastpro does get away. This is a wild fight, just running in the back line. They are just flipping sides. Teleports come through as well. Gentleman Joby is first to the scene, picking up the first kill. Shadell does go down. Devout sure to fall here as well. There's the unstoppable force, but they might be stoppable, RGM. That might not be accurately named. That's a double kill coming through for Gentleman Joby so far. Looking for a third. That's going to be picked up by Yasuka on the backside. Aliuna now chasing on to Smaxwell, who does run away with the movement speed from that Q. Should be able to get to the blast cone to keep himself alive, but Gentleman Joby now trying to run him away in the sun, or around the jungle, I should say. In the mid lane, Heacher just oblivious to this entire fight, picking up some plates. He's saying, I want my money. Screw you, team. I am just farming the wave here as this fight does go in favor of Glacial Nebula.
Yeah, nice fight by the Glacial Nebula. I was really puzzled. The Twitch immediately stealthed and started running into the cul-de-sac, and I was like, where's he going? What's he going to do there? But evidently he was waiting for the whole team to TP in, including his jungler. Turned it into a 5v4, what started off as a 3v2. And 3 assists on that. He did not get the kills, but I still think that given that you were numbers down on the initial engage, he did a great job of getting to relative safety and waiting and dealing some damage so that his team could get there. We now have a Hextech Proto Belt completed on this Echo, who's 301 with a 350 gold bounty. That's pretty monstrous, and he is a scaling champ. You give him an early lead, and if he's got the mechanical skill, he can absolutely card carry games. So I think we've got a really scary Echo here. See how he does.
Echo is one of those champs that really can just hard carry a game without seemingly trying very hard. I feel like that happens a lot in solo queue. I'll be playing AD carry, having a nice game, and then Echo jumps out of the bush and I just die instantly. And I'm like, oh, that's fun. I guess I'm not playing the game anymore. So a couple of kills, like you said, Echo, give him an inch. He will take a mile, certainly. And Gentleman Joby now in a prime position to carry this game for his team. We'll see how he manages this lead. But yeah, Protobot completed. Also has the stopwatch available to try to buy a little bit of time for himself. So that could be important in the team fight. And has flash. So everything up except for the teleport for Gentleman Joby. Might see a fight around this dragon. However, Genji Ninja and Aliuna going very low in this dragon pit. She is just going to fall straight away. Dragon now under fire by RGM. Genji Ninja picking up that 1 kill. There's the engage by the Volibear. Genji Ninja does secure the dragon. That's their second of the game. Ultimate by Gentleman Joby, but he's just not able to pick up the kills. Has to flash himself over the wall. Unstoppable force to follow, and the Yasuo as well. Last breath, and that is what Gentleman Joby is taking. He's been taken out, shut down on this one in a 4-for-0 fight in favor of RGM, and they pick up the dragon.
Amazing by the RGM, and I thought it actually looked good at the start. Glacial Nebula had 5 in the dragon pit, and Malphite did not have ult. He had just used it earlier, and he was topside, kind of walking down slow, but the focus was just not there. We had Volibear on the top side against the Yasuo, while Aliuna died in the pit against the Genji Ninja, and they really just were kind of all over the place. Everybody taking their own 1v1 or their own 2v2. There was no coordination, and they did not focus the Drake. So that is now 2 Drakes over to RGM, ballooned up to a 2k lead. And now the Yasuo with that is now relevant again. He picked up 2 kills in that fight. He's got Phantom Dancer in addition to his Berserker Greaves. And now it's back to kind of a tough matchup mid between this kind of fed Echo and this kind of fed Yasuo. Malphite ult was really good. He dashed a wall, picked off the Echo at the end of that fight. And that's what you want. quite frankly, I wish Volibear would not leave top. He's got a lead. He's got a 30 CS, and he picked up a kill in the previous fight. And look at the comps. If you think about the way these fights are supposed to go, while we get a pause, the RGM wants to team fight. They want Malphite to ult 2 or 3 for Yasuo to get his combo off, but they can't do it if he's not in the fight. Keep the Volibear topside. Let him take turrets if Malphite doesn't want to match. And I think that is a much better way to kind of play the macro than having Volibear join, zone off the Yasuo, and then get eaten by the Malphite ult kind of as the fight progresses.
Do agree with that. Volibear is very strong in his own right. Stacking up the grasp, too. Didn't really notice that he had grasp of the Undying. I think that's pretty normal. But he might find himself in a little bit of trouble here. Genjin is paying him another visit. Aliona is in the area, however, if Yasuka can buy enough time for himself, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Aliona has arrived onto Smaxwell, though. Smaxwell, an unstoppable force. What a great usage of that ability to get away from the collateral damage. We're going to transition into the bot lane. Blast Pro with a nice flash to get away from the stun from Shadedown. And it looks like this fight might fizzle out. Devout, though, pretty far forward. The stealth comes through for Blast Pro. There is the grand entrance onto this Nautilus. The quickness as well. Getting a nice double charm. There is the spray and pray as well. But Adruina taken very low. She is just taken out of this fight straight away. Blast Pro now left in a 1 versus 2, going very low very quickly, trying to trade back, but it's not going to be enough. A double kill for Shadedown on the bot lane. And these latest fights are just going all in favor of RGM.
I just don't understand what RGM's bot side is doing. Like, they are an AP mage, burst mage, and like a heavy CC frontline tank, and they are playing scared of this Twitch Rakan, who's like a 1-item Twitch. That is not a scary lane. They like sat there and took like 5 or 6 autos, wandering around in circles until Rakan finally engaged for them with his ult, and then it's just a matter of bopping him on the head, getting the snare. And here we go, mid lane.
In the mid lane, Gentleman Joby trying to fight back. There's the stopwatch, but he doesn't have his ultimate left anymore. He is just going to get taken down straight away. Heater, the Triumph, going to save him from the tower. It was a valiant effort by Gentleman Joby to try to flip that gank on its head, but in the end, he goes down. It's another successful gank for Genjin Ninja on the Hecarim.
Yeah, the mechanics on that Echo, I wasn't that happy about it. If you've got Zonias or stopwatch, you use that before your ult. That way your shadow has a chance to like condense underneath you during the stopwatch, and then when you pop out, everybody uses every single ability they have, and then you ult both to dodge and to damage. So I feel like once you use your ult, you only use your stopwatch if there's help coming, and there wasn't any help coming. He's just going to die on the far side. So I feel like that was a little bit of a misplay. He could have laid down more damage. He could have been healthier coming out of his ult. But the Yasuo 3-0, 146 CS, item and a half, working on his IE, and it looks like they're not just getting kills. They're getting kills and turning it into objectives. Picking up Herald right now, 17 minutes in, not going to get plates, but going to get a turret. And at this point, despite it being 17 minutes, we still have first turret gold on the map. Getting this first turret's definitely going to put a good chunk of extra gold in whichever team is able to make that happen. And it looks like they're dropping it topside.
Herald dropped in the top lane against that tower. That tower should fall. We'll need a few more autos besides just the Herald. They actually decided to back away. I don't think that tower will die, actually. It will not. So that first turret gold is still available on the map for whatever team is able to claim it. And there it goes down. As I said, Caster Curse picked up in the mid lane.
Yeah,
for
I think that's a
Teacher.
mistake. If you look at the mid lane for RGM, Echo has that really low as well. I think you just needed to kind of pressure and try and go for gold in that spot if you could. Just looking at the map across, the Graves has just Aliona on that Graves has not really gotten a lot done. And here we go with a little bit of a pick.
Heater just caught out of position, taken down straight away. That shutdown going in favor of Gentleman Joby. 650 gold in his pocket. That's not the carry that you wanted to give that gold to. Probably second only to Blast Pro and where they want that money to go on Glacial Nebula. So Gentleman Joby getting himself back in the game. Heater getting caught out of position, and the Dragon's alive at the same time, Merlin.
Right, this is perfect. Get a pick beforehand, but then you're just face checking a brush. I don't know how this is going to go.
Yeah, the picks are just coming in thick and fast. Adruina taken away. There is the ultimate from the Volibear trying to start this fight out. Glacial Nebula trying to fight back, maybe get themselves a dragon to even up the scoreline, but Unleashed Power doing so much damage from Shadell. He is just kicking in the damage in the backline. Genjin Ninja has arrived as well. Now going on to his opposing number, Aluina. Very low, going to be taken down. You have to feel Genjin Ninja actually might be getting the script flipped on him here. Has to run himself away from Yasuko, who has no mana to continue this fight. A very messy fight that forces both teams to get off the dragon.
Yeah, I don't hate it though. I feel like RGM did pretty well there. And this Syndra is quietly getting really strong. Like she is able to just fight in the back line, and land Qs and land stuns. She's got her Luden's Echo, and with this is going to be the third Drake. She's getting strong. So when you are Glacial Nebula and you're looking at this team, you have to think about what the priority focus has to be, and they really need to try and shut down this Yasuo and Syndra as early in the fight as possible.
Syndra, very strong in the backline. She's been very strong in the meta for quite a long time now, and just really strong in this game. Has 132 CS, which is, not a massive amount of CS, but it's a competent amount of CS. Has the Luden's Echo completed, is level 10, so the damage only going to go up once she gets that second rank in Unleash Power, that ultimate, for the burst damage. And Blast Pro just not having the game that he might have been looking for. Gonna need a couple more items before he has that, real power in team fights that you see from the Twitch. And I think honestly the Twitch pick might have just been a little bit too slow in this game. It's going to take so long to scale. Trinity Force is completed now for Genji Ninja, so he's going to be doing a lot. 2 items completed for the mid laner and Heater. 100% crit. This Yasuo is just a monster at this point. Smaxwell's never going to die in the top lane. He's so tanky. And overall, just looking really good for RGM. They have that third dragon as well in the mountains. So a lot of positives for them here. You just can't gank this Malphite at this point, Merlin.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's just going to be farming until they take that turret. I mean, you might be able to die for the turret or something, but otherwise, there's not much to be done. I gotta say, I wish this RGM bot lane would go in. Like they've got a huge lead. They are 5-0 in kills, and they have a Nautilus Syndra who's got ult up. I mean, I think all you have to do is press R, combo it with a hook, combo it with a Syndra Sun, but they are playing incredibly passively. All these kills are coming in through team fights, and they have a monster win condition. I mean, mages love going up against squishies. Like that is a mage favored matchup all day. I played against a Varus mid lane yesterday, and yeah, he could farm in CS well, but as a Malzahar mid, I one shot him all day long once I hit 6, and they're 10, 11 with extra gold and kills. They just need to go in. And it looks like we might get some action as they are pushing, and Graves is hanging out for a gank.
Genji Ninja in the area as well, so this could get quite spicy in the bot lane quite quickly. But I do definitely agree. Shadell with the rank 2 ultimate will just one-shot Blast Pro. The QE ult and Blast Pro is gone. Almost certainly from the map. Maybe the exhaust could save him from Adruina, but there's not a lot of risk if you're Shadell and Devout. This Twitch does not do any damage at this point. So I
No.
think we are going to see that fight just about it. Just throw the stun out there, Shadell. Try to go for that engage. There's the hook. Not going to quite land. Genji Ninja in the area, they're just like grasping at straws trying to engage here in the bot, and it's just not working out for them, as Blast Pro and Adruina are going to keep getting to scale and keep getting to farm up.
Yeah, I kind of wish he'd just walk up in auto if he doesn't think he can hit a Q. If he can't hook, like you just but you gotta get in there. At this point, letting the Twitch scale for free without getting any kills or putting pressure on the turret, like how is this bot lane turret still standing? I don't know. I
Flash
feel
from Heater. Oh, Flash from Heater in the mid lane is now caught between a rock and a hard place. Aliuna, though, not very strong. Heater might just be flipping his target choice, and Genji Ninja has arrived as well. Goes into the Zanya, trying to buy a little bit of time. Gentleman Joby just going to get dove into the tower by Genji Ninja. This horse is so strong. He's saying, clear the way. I'm coming through. Picking up the kill out of the Echo and gets himself out to safety.
Yeah, Hecarim is a really, really strong pick. I didn't talk about summoners, but I love Ghost Hecarim with the Ghost bust that we saw. He gets resets on the Ghost anytime he gets a kill. So in team fights, the Ghost multiplies his damage, and it allows him to kind of catch and deal damage to more players because of the reset. So I'm really happy to see the Ghost in addition to the Smite. So he's going no Flash, which is relatively uncommon these days. But the build is perfect too. He's got Cinder Hulk for a little bit of tankiness, and he has Trinity Force already. Those are 2 big items for any player. He's just going to be doing a ton of damage. And then it looks like RGM is doing a smart rotation. They got a 4K gold league. They think Yasuo can do better in the side lane, and definitely puts more pressure on the turrets. So they rotate him up, and it looks like he's going to get top turret.
That tower likely is going to go down. Heater and Yasuka now going to go toe-to-toe, but Smaxwell is in the area. This could get bad for Yasuka real quickly. Able to survive, does not go for any further chase. But, it's felt like it's been a pretty slow game, despite all the kills coming through, at least to me. But this Dragon's coming up in 45 seconds. We're 25 minutes into this game already, and this is the sole point. So they
Right.
need to fight for this Glacial Nebula. You can't give this away, especially against Hecarim, against Malphite, against the Nautilus. The tankiness coming through from this is just going to be absurd. They're not going to be killable. This has to be your last-ditch effort if you're going to go for a fight. You have Renan Hurricane on your Twitch. If you're going to make a stand, this is where you have to do it. It's under 30 seconds, and they're not even in the area.
No, and I mean the pink ward coverage is really good. They're rotating early. The volley bear is topside. He does have TP, but he's much better kind of there at the start of the fight versus joining late. Echo and Yasuo are looking for mid priority. But yeah, it really looks like with 10 seconds to go, that Glacial Nebula is really not in position to contest this well.
Gonna be spawning in 1 second. It's on the map. This is sole point for RGM. If they're able to secure this dragon, it looks like there's not even that much of a contest right now. Adrian and Blast Pro not in the area. They can't just be giving this up. I don't feel this is the correct decision, just trying to go for the steal. They're not gonna be able to get it, and that is an uncontested soul at 25 minutes going over in favor of RGM.
Yeah, if you're not going to contest Soul, then you could have traded that for mid turret, top turret, and bottom turret. They were all actually in position. Echo kind of hovered around mid. Volley Bear recalled at full health instead of putting pressure on the top turret. And Twitch and Rakan, despite them knowing that they're going for Drake, were not able to get any damage done. So at this point, we're kind of falling far behind there for Glacial Nebula. I'm not sure what it's going to take. At this point, they probably need to stall, maybe get some picks, and we've got something in the mid.
Gentleman Joby is just getting ripped apart here by Heacher. Ultimate to try by a bit of time, but another sword right in the heart stabs him straight through. Gentleman Joby finds himself in the death chamber for the 5th time this game.
Yeah, the 301 Echo did not carry the way we were hoping. So we've got Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer on the Yasuo, and he is just very, very strong. We got a TP, so we're going to see if we can do
Double
this.
teleport. Yeah, coming through the bot lane. Yasuka teleports and immediately runs himself out to safety. There's the flash dredge line coming through from Devout. He wants to start this fight right now. Unstoppable Force under the tower. That's a double knock up, and the dive comes through from all of these champions, just going straight under the tower. RGM just ripping it through this fight. Yasuka's going to fall. He's going to be followed by his support as well. Blastfire trying to run away, but she's going to get cut down as well. That is 4 kills in the fight. A map-wide ace, as Gentleman Joby is still in the death chamber, and RGM just commit straight to the turret. They're going to be able to win the fight and win the game. It's a surrender coming through from Glacial and Nebula. It's RGM. We're going to pick up game number 1 in this best of 5.
Yeah, I think that game had gotten totally out of hand. And with that ace, they were going to be able to march down and take inhibs. Personally, I like to play it out. I like to, try and sense weakness, see if people will overcommit. I always think there are things you can learn, but I understand where they're coming from, feeling that behind. I do think that Glacial Nebula is still a strong team. I think maybe some different picks will make a big difference. So the Yasuo, and the Malphite, you cannot let them get those two champs together again at some point in pick ban. You either have to split them up or pick it yourself. So I think that that's an obvious play in Champ Select next match. And I think maybe jungler with more presence. The Graves, it just didn't look crisp. I am used to Graves getting out at level 4 and coming out of the jungle with a high damage gank before anybody else, and it just didn't come through the way I expected. And hopefully with those two changes, they can present kind of a more even match, maybe pull a victory out in game 2. What are your thoughts, Carl?
I think, Aliuna, I don't want to just say jungle diff, but I think got out jungled by Ginja Ninja in this game. Ginja Ninja is really one of the main carries for this RGM team, has always been a really strong player in this league. And I think on the Hecarim, had a superior early clear and kind of got that first kill and really just never looked back. Aliuna was behind a couple of levels pretty early, ended the game down 2 levels, and it just became really hard for Graves to do anything, especially while behind against a lot of these tanky champions. Doesn't have the damage to really get through any of them and actually start kind of just one-shotting people, which is what Graves wants to do, right? That's why he's so strong. He can be a little bit tankier, has a lot of damage, and that can really just spell the end for the carries. But Aliuna was never able to get to the backline, was never able to hit Shaydell or Heacher, and so kind of just looked a little bit flat. At the same time, I think that Twitch was also not the greatest pick. I think Twitch can be a fine champ if you're really trying to play an aggressive bot lane, but it's with the Rakan, not the most aggressive of supports, wasn't really able to scale up, and so I think something more standard. I know there were a lot of bot lane bans in this game, something like the Ezreal, like the Misfortune, even a Felios coming through, Callista, if you want to play aggressive. I think all would be better picks in this game. The Twitch for me just didn't feel like it really had a purpose in this game.
Right. I mean, even something like Caitlyn, something that at least gives you early priority and allows you to contest for that first Drake. I mean, they fell behind. That was an early soul and really kind of spelled doom for them when they couldn't contest for that. So even picking something that's like a notorious lane bully so they can rotate up and get that first Drake might make a big difference. I will say on the part of RGM, they had a winning comp, and the Syndra was super effective. 419. I feel like that went really, really well. And if they don't make you change it, I don't think you have to change it. I mean, that's a good comp. Make them beat what you can win with before you shift around. So I kind of hope they keep some of these pieces intact for the next game if they are given the opportunity in pick ban.
I do agree. I think, when you win, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I expect to see that in the draft. Hopefully some similar components coming through for them in their draft in game number 2. And that draft for game number 2 is coming up after a very short break as we get ready for the second game in this best of 5. We will be right back with game number 2 in this series after a short break. Don't go away. Welcome back for game number 2 here between Glacial Nebula and Royal Griffin Majesty. Best of 5 here in the promotion relegation match, the first one of this season here between Piltover and Ionia. That's Glacial Nebula looking to advance into Ionia and Royal Griffin Majesty looking to defend their spot in that second tier group. I am Jarl Carl alongside Merlin for Merlin Mondays, the second game into the draft.
Let's go, Glacial. You got to represent this division. We went 0-1, and we are looking to do something different. And I see they have already banned the Yasuo, which I think is smart. That Yasuo took a little time to get started, as he kind of always does, but was super effective in the mid-late game, and eventually was able to duel down the Echo, even though the Echo got some early kills. So I am happy to see that Glacial Nebula was able to get that Yasuo ban. So far, it looks like we've got a Volibear, and a repeat of the Graves. I don't mind the Volibear. I think Volibear is still really strong, and he did okay into the Malphite. Malphite was obviously still effective, but a portion of his utility came with the Yasuo, which we no longer have in Champ Select. Aliuna going to try that Graves again. I felt like it didn't do a lot, strangely enough. I mean, you sometimes see Graves power farm that jungle, come out and smack people around, get kills, get farmed, be a little bit kind of bruiserous and tanky, but it just didn't really play out that way. In the mid lane, we've got Zed versus Zoe. Should be an interesting matchup. Thoughts there, Carl?
I think that is a very exciting matchup. The real trick here for Gentleman Joby is to land the Sleepy Trouble Bubble as Heater comes out of the Death Mark. Zed will always appear behind you. You can time it, works with Ari Charm as well. So you see him straight away, and that's probably the only way that Gentleman Joby is going to be able to survive without burning some summoner spells, because Zed will be right on top of him, not going to be able to get away otherwise. So I think that's the main trick to look for, but I think these two champions will be going toe-to-toe quite a lot in this mid lane. I would expect to see some kills in that lane as well. I agree with what you were saying about the jungle. Aliuna, she just didn't have the greatest of games on the Graves. Kind of got behind the Hecarim, and at that point, it was pretty much curtains. Ginja Ninja, known for being a really big carry on all the champions that he plays, really carrying his team to victory. So he's looking to continue that in this game with the same jungle matchup and the same top lane matchup. So we kind of just ran back a lot of the draft, and then we just really threw the draft out the window, and we went into this bot lane. We have a Lissandra versus Victor. Merlin, break this down for me.
I do not think that the ADC role is that overrated. Are you kidding me, guys? You don't ever need to siege turrets. You don't need repeat DPS to take objectives. So it looks like both teams have just thrown everything out the window, and they're just going to go with unconventional bot lanes. I do not like the Lissandra pick. Syndra, I think, is a little bit more utility, better wave push. Can kind of CC and one shot, and it worked so well last game. I don't know why you wouldn't force them to play against that. We should probably go to a short break, but I'll talk more about this bot lane too, since we've got a Victor Karma on the other side.
We got some spectator delay. Don't get too excited here. We still got 3 minutes.
Oh, all right, we're good to go. All right, so
yeah.
I'm a big fan of Victor. Victor is an amazing champ. He's got incredible scaling with his Hextech cores, and he is weakest before he gets his first 1150. If he cannot get his first core upgrade, he is very, very weak. He has no good buys because you really need that 1050 or 1150 that it costs. If he goes back and buys another ring or some potions, like that's just a complete waste, and it just fully delays him until he can get that complete buy. He is a lot more vulnerable mid, I think, than he would be bot. So I think he's just going to be looking to farm and get that core as soon as he can. I wouldn't be surprised if he even took TP. Is it really relevant for him right now to take Ignite in a bot lane where he's got Karma supporting him and they're up against a Mage Lissandra who's not really going to get online until she gets a couple items and a couple levels? So I think Victor should just play safe, and if he scales into the late game, he does massive damage. Also, will be a little bit interesting to see what kind of summoners he takes. Sometimes you see Phase Rush for the extra speed, but we'll have to wait and see. On the other hand, the Lissandra Morgana is a heavy CC lane. Theoretically, you might be able to see some kill pressure there if she packs Ignite or Morgana packs Ignite, and they can kind of chain CC the Victor down, even with the Karma defending. I think it's possible for there to be some kill pressure. I think the Zed Zoe lane is super scary. I think that Zoe, by and large, has a lot of pressure levels 1 to 5. She doesn't really gain a lot when she gets her ultimate, but it's going to take a lot of fancy feet for Zed to not get hit by the trouble bubble and not take random paddle stars to the face. I do expect Ginga Ninja on that Hecarim to provide some relief or support if he gets pushed into tower. But I feel like that is a pretty Zoe favored lane for the early game, which means they might have a little bit better time trying to go for early Drakes. We'll see how it ends up playing out. The top, like you said, is just a repeat of that Volibear Malphite, except hopefully Volibear doesn't burn Flash and get killed level 3 this game.
Yeah, the level 1 Flash was a little bit unfortunate for him. I want to briefly touch again on Lissandra because it's just so fascinating. I think Lissandra pick is good if you ignore the fact that Syndra was available, because I think it wants to do the same thing, and the Syndra is just better. I think Genji Ninja needs to be focusing on the spot lane. Shadell and Devout need to be getting kills early. A lot of crowd control. They can just wipe somebody off the map, especially before Victor starts getting strong. I think that's a real win condition for them if Genji Ninja can just use the first ultimate, the first gank down in that bot lane. Could get them a lot of advantages in this game, but we are going to throw it to a short break as we load into game number 2. We'll be back on the other side with game number 2 on the Rift between Royal Griffin Majesty and Glacial Nebula. Okay. Welcome back, everybody, onto the Rift. We are going to unpause the game here in 3, in 2, in 1. Unpause with game number 2. RGM on the blue side, Glacial Nebula on the red side. They've switched sides for this game, but many of the picks have remained the same. Also want to point out some summoner spells. We have Double Cleanse for Blast Pro and Heacher looking to get away from that CC. We didn't really mention this a lot in Champions League, but there's just a lot of crowd control on both of these teams. Yasuka has a stun, the bubble from Joby, stun from Blast Pro from Angelina, binding, the ultimate from Shadell, slows from Heacher. Genji Ninja has the fear. Smaxwell also, of course, with that ultimate. So yeah, there's a lot of crowd control in this game. This cleanse is going to be very important. And once again, Merlin, it's your favorite thing. We have
an early invade. Morgana is a great invade champ, and it looks like they're going to get vision on their red buff. And it looks like it's possible if they push into that brush, they could see somebody. But I do like it. They get some early vision. Quite frequently, it's very popular in these games to send your jungler to get a river ward on the top side, even if you want to start bot side, and then to recall and get red trinket. So if you do an invade like that, you stand a chance of just running into their jungler and getting an easy first blood. So I do like it. Like you said, Heacher does have cleanse. That's going to protect him levels 1 through 5 from Zoe a little bit. And then on the flip side, we have Victor with cleanse to protect himself from the Morgana Lissandra lane. There are no combat summoners in that bot lane. We have heal cleanse. So it's really just going to be farming up for Victor. And I kind of like it. Like, it's going to be... They're going to get pushed in, but I don't think Victor's going to have any trouble farming under turret. I think that'll be relatively straightforward. And I think that lane's going to go well for them. I don't think the Lissandra's going to work. We'll see how it plays out. We do have a little bit of a different jungle start. So the Malphite helps the Hecarim with a top start, which I do like. It doesn't matter whether he gets to level 1, he's going to get pushed in no matter what. So I think that puts Hecarim down on the bot side where all of his CC is, to hopefully be able to get an early gank or potentially provide a little bit of relief to that Zed if that Zed ends up getting pushed in. But the junglers are starting on opposite sides, so we will see We will see a little bit different pathing. And it looks like the Graves is clearing a lot faster. So he's on Wolves right now, maybe not kiting that quite as far as Wolves would go. But it's still, I think, substantially faster than the flip side as they both cross the midsection at this point.
Yeah, pretty similar timings in this game. I really like this start by Ginja Ninja. I think he needs to be ganking on the bot side, like I was talking about in champ select. And I think what you want to do is you want to burn the cleanse, burn some summoner spells here, and then repeat at level 6. When you have that ultimate, should be before those summoners are back up, and then look for a kill then. I think that should be the early game strategy here. For RGM, if they do want to get back into this game, I should say, I almost said back into the series, but they won the first game, so I don't know what game I was watching. Heater in the mid lane, going to barely survive the flash from Gentleman Joby going for the kill, but he has heal, not ignite, wasn't able to pick up the kill. Cleanse also still available for Heater if he does need, but we were talking about that mid lane matchup being volatile. It's showing it at level 3.
Yeah, I mean, Gentleman Joby definitely has a huge edge until Zed gets his ultimate, and unfortunately, that was a kill. He just missed his paddle star. Not, admittedly, a very difficult ability to hit, particularly when you're burning flash to kind of get the angles that you want. And I do like the fact that, despite the fact that Joby wanted to recall, he knew that that wave wasn't properly pushed and would give his opponent a huge wave and a freeze. So he's sticking around, making sure he clears those last minutes.
Last Pro having to flash away with the cleanse. Been used as well. Genji Ninja chasing forward. Teleport has been expended as well. Devout could find himself falling from this one. It is Yasuka here, but he might just be a little bit too late to the party. Bit of lightning comes down. Actually, might not be too late to this party. Shade Dell going to be in the receiving end of that damage. Taken out. First blood in favor of Glacial Nebula, but they did use the summoners and the teleport for the kill.
Oh, totally worth it though. So teleport ganks, I think, are almost always bad. It is very hard to have exactly the right combination of circumstances, but that was it. Yasuke did a great job because he pushed his wave all the way in. It's pushing back towards him. He's not going to miss any minions. He's not going to miss any XP. And he was able to TP behind the opponents after they had blown everything. And not only did he pick up the kill, he also got flash out of the Morgana, which makes her much more vulnerable. We do see a repeat gank by Hecarim on the bot side, which I think is unexpected and also not a bad idea at all. But it is spotted out by the Karma warding properly.
There's the Claw of Doom for on a Blast Pro by Shade Dale. Maybe trying to set up Genji Ninja once again, but not going to be able to do so. I think he just tried to get level 6 and come back with level 6 before the cleanse is back up for Blast Pro. So in a couple of minutes, you have a little bit of a window where you can probably just get a kill straight away. You might even be able to do it if there is no flash as well. So Blast Pro had to use both summoners for that last gank. If only the cleanse is up, I'm not sure he'll be able to survive, especially against an onslaught of shadows from Genji Ninja, maybe the ultimate from Shadel and Devout as well. It's just a lot of crowd control. One cleanse is probably not going to be enough for him. So looking forward for that repeat gank. Genji Ninja is spotted out on a ward. Still might be going for this gank in the mid lane on the Gentleman Joby. It's the knockback, but also gets put to sleep at the same time. He is taking a bit of a nap on this one, gets woken up. Eliune is here as well. Genji Ninja very low, trying to get a little bit of a body block here. Heater, Genji Ninja might be looking to go back into this one, but Eliune is going to just shoot him in the face with a shotgun. There's the kill picked up for the jungler of Glacial Nebula. Heater now the only one left alive. Oh, Gentleman Joby going so low. He's able to use the flash, though. He steals the flash and gets away. Heater has to be so sad at that one. Eliune tries to get the kill, but not going to be able to do so as well. In the end, though, just that one kill in favor of Glacial Nebula. Might be another one, though. Yasuka is now looking for this dive. Heater turns the corner and sees a giant ice bear in his face. There's the flash. There's the bear slap. Yasuka picks up the kill onto Heater. 3-0 now for Glacial Nebula.
Everything going Glacial Nebula's way, and I want to point out that the mechanics on Gentleman Joby picking up the flash off the ground at 80 health, which is exactly what he needed to get out. Brilliant. And Aliuna says, you know what? We're going to run this Graves back because I know I've got what it takes. And here he is, 101, right time, right place. Picked up the kill on the Hecarim in the long gank defense that Gentleman Joby had. And Volibear with his getting involved in his second kill there. Really nice job. I guess that was his first kill. He got assisted in the first gank, his TP gank. But here we go. We've got a 6 CS lead and a kill and an assist over the Malphite, who has, 0 map impact, and that's what you're looking for. This Volibear is a super strong pick, and if I was RGM and had to do one thing differently in the draft, that's like, I think, a point where you might have wanted to change things up. This Volibear is absolutely going to get rolling and potentially going to be a scary win condition. It looks like both junglers are on their top side. It'll be interesting to see if they fight more, but even the Malphite's taking some damage just in regular trades.
That's a lot of damage, Merlin. He just lost 60% of his HP.
Yeah.
So Yasuka just kind of running at him.
Right, in just one combo.
It's only going to get worse, too. He's down 10 CS already. He's just going to get shoved in over and over and over again. And Maxwell needs to get out of this lane. He needs to start having impact with the Unstoppable Force, because at some point he is just going to get dove under the tower. Cast Curse straight away under this one. Does have the ultimate, though, if he's able to use it. Might not have the mana to be able to do so. Can he buy enough time for that to come up? Under the tower, there's the Unstoppable Force. A lot of tower shots. Yasuka has had the script flipped on him. Maxwell able to pick up the first kill of the game for RGM there, as he just died, basically just
Yeah, that was an overplay, a huge overplay. Knowing that Malphite has the ult and trying to dive him, I know you can stop the turret for a little while. And the part I like the least about that is it would not have been hard to call the Graves over. Graves was topside. He was there. But with that kill and the fact that Graves is showing top, they know they get a free Drake. So RGM getting started on that Drake win condition. I actually think 8-minute Drake is a lot better than the 6.5 that they had last match. So I think that that's less of a give for the Glacial Nebula, but I do think that that's a concern that you want to have. I don't know why Grave was even topside. It's not like he left the wave in particularly good condition, and here's that mid gank.
Gentleman Joby has everything in the kitchen sink thrown at him here. Heacher going to pick up that kill. There's a 4-man gank in the mid lane. RGM still fighting back in this one.
Yeah, if the opponents take Drake and bot's not showing, you know that they're hidden on the map, and you have got to shade towards topside. You get a little more action in the mid.
More action. Only 2 members remain. Teleport is coming in, though, from Smax, while Onslaught of Shadows was used to get himself out to safety. Heater as well, trying to run away without taking damage in the bot lane. I see a re-engage, though. Blast Pro in a little bit of trouble with Shade Dell that is taking all the damage here. The ultimate under the tower. Chaos Storm from Blast Pro, just to get him out of lane a little bit. Shade Dell does not have ultimate, and Devout no longer has flash.
Yeah, I think this bot lane is pretty Glacial Nebula focused. At this point, he's got a 20 CS lead. And the Victor is just going to scale into the mid game and be more effective than the Lysandra. He has 2 of his Hextech Core upgrades. I think it'll be interesting to see what his second item is. Victor actually has a lot of flexibility in terms of what he builds second item. But they know that the opponent's recalled, and they've got a free opportunity to get some plates on this bot side. So it's looking pretty good. We got
they're gonna get anymore. Yeah, they're just stuck on this one. But go ahead, man.
Yeah, they got a 2K gold lead in the mid game. Glacial Nebula, despite giving over that Drake and that free kill topside, I still think they're in much better position than they were at any point last game. And I think that the win condition of having a giant Victor smash everybody and be too mobile is still in play. I will say Zed hit 6. He does have Saturday Dirk and a Caulfield's Warhammer, so no completed first item, but he is still, at this point, a pretty big threat to the Zoe. Despite being down 1 level, he has kind of come out of the laning phase intact, only down 10 CS, which I think is fine. And I hope that we get to see some action here soon in the mid lane.
Gentleman Joby, you're going to see it right now. She does have stopwatch to buy some time. Will he remember? No, does not. Gentleman Joby goes down straight away. Yasuka now in a 1 versus 3. Deathmark goes down onto him. He uses the ultimate feature, just blown off the map immediately. Genshin and Maxwell now running themselves for the hills. Mid laner from mid laner traded. Teleport used by Yasuka for another kill.
Yeah, I think that was absolutely worth it. And the Graves doing what he does best, just coming into a gank and dealing a ton of damage. If they keep repeating those, I think they would come out in pretty good shape. I think Gentleman Joby has got to play safer. That's his second death, and he's just not warding or picking up on where people are. I mean, he just kind of came out of base after dying twice, and he doesn't have a pink ward. And really, you need to be able to ward one of those brushes so that you can play safe towards the other side. And at this point, I think he's the weakness on the Glacial Nebula team. And if it wasn't for good counter ganks by Aliana and Yasuke, they would be kind of getting farther and farther behind.
Nice bubble does land on the Teacher. He uses the cleanse a little bit late. No effect from that. Gets exhausted by Gentleman Joby. Has picked that one up from the spell, but we're going to see a gank in the bot lane. Finally, they are ganking this lane. Genshin Ninja has arrived. No cleanse on Blast Pro. There's the flash. The Onslaught of Shadows. What a great double fear into the Soul Shackle from Devout. Doesn't have a stopwatch, so he gets blown off the map. Blast Pro doing so much damage. Edgerina now trying to run away. Uses the flash to keep himself safe. That was a lot closer than I thought it would be. Merlin, his Teacher might get dove in the mid lane.
Yeah, they got the Gentleman Joby did a nice job trading, getting him low, but I think even, you know, equally important as trying to get this dive is just doing some damage on the turret. It looks like they're kind of collapsing on both sides. I don't think they're going to get it,
Yeah,
though.
they decided to back off. They're going, maybe not. He might have Deathmark up again. You don't want to get outplayed under the turret by Zed and kind of give him a window back into the game. So
Right.
everybody backs away. Yasuka can go back to top lane, get run around a little bit by Malphite, but he's going to be just fine. Actually, there's the engagement on a Gentleman Joby. Puts him to sleep, but it's not going to be enough. Yasuka might be in time for the counter again. Catch Flash. Teacher, can he go back? No, he can. He gets taken down. Yasuka, another counter gank in the mid lane, but Gentleman Joby goes down again.
Yeah, it did cost him a wave topside, so it wasn't quite as free as some of the others. He did not have the wave prepped the way he wanted it to. But still, you're going 1-for-1. I think the Zed's pretty happy with it. So here's the thing. If you're Gentleman Joby and you have, like, every single time you died, somebody else died, but you didn't get any of the kills, you're getting weaker and weaker relative to your mid lane opponent. And he's got to realize that Zed has 3 kills and is going to be, from an item perspective, just a little bit stronger, and he's got to kind of play a little more conservatively. This is like this is probably the second or third time we've seen him push past the midpoint of the lane, and not necessarily get the trades exactly the way he wants. He does have 2 pink wards in inventory, so he should be able to cover and at least be more aware of when the ganks happen. And I do believe we have Drake up right now, so this is going to be another point of contention. Both teams are going to be looking to push their waves, push mid, push bot, get priority. And it looks like we have an early rotation from Volibear, and we have a Malphite stuck topside with no TP. So we've got a Glacial Nebula have a numbers advantage.
The early engage, Blast Pro taking out a half HP very early. Cleansing is available, does get used, not going to have a lot of effect, but that one does go down. There's the Frozen Tomb from Shadel to buy a little bit of time. Used onto himself, healing as well. Gentleman Joby getting exhausted down, does have Flash that he picked up off the ground. Gets Ninja and get himself away. Gentleman Joby trying to go for a little bit more here. Heater goes back in. Can he pick up the kill on Adrena? Yes, he can, but the Volibear comes in the counter punch. Heater now is up a creek without a paddle. Can he get himself away? It was 2 for 2 in the overall fight. Both bot lanes did go down, but the Dragon went over in favor of Glacial Nebula as well. There's the Deathmark onto Aliuna. Heater trying to flip the script. I think he will be able to. Aliuna does heal with Triumph, but it's not going to be enough. Take it out in the end. 3 for 3, but Dragon for Glacial Nebula.
Yeah, 3 for 3, and Glacial Nebula picked up the Drake. I think that is as good as you can expect, and here we have Malphite coming to the fight super late.
More fights. Maxwell has finally arrived over the wall. There's an unstoppable force and the onslaught of shadows. Nice engage there by RGM. Gentleman Joby and Yasuka are just healing too much. They're not able to find the kills. Blast Pros arrived back as well. Genji Ninja trying to trade him back. He's not going to be able to do so. Gentleman Joby's just too fast with all those summoners. Glacial Nebula fighting back after that fight. A little bit overeager there by RGM.
I thought they had it for a second there, but late in that fight, I think Gentleman Joby deliberately walked by Hecarim at melee just to bait him back into the fight to his death. I don't know whether he's just got a good grasp of the champion limitations, or whether Gidget Ninja's overplaying his hand, given that he didn't get fed. It's very easy if you play jungle or really any role and you get massively fed in one game and you have like this particular like power strength at a particular phase in the game, and then you come back and play a second match on the same champ, it's easy to think that the game's going to go the same way. But he has not gotten the kills, he has not gotten the gold, he doesn't have the farm lead that he had last game. It is a very different game. Here we have a pick.
Andrew, not too far up, trying to clear this vision. Doesn't take damage that quickly, though. Shadel finally going to be able to finish off that kill, but he can't go back into this one. Gets stunned up. Aliuna just blows him right off the face. So Summoner drifted out now, not able to go anyway. There's the Soul Shackle. Nice binding onto Blast Pro, but he has nowhere else to go. No Zani, he goes down as well. Blast Pro picking up that kill. Yasuka in the top lane also doing a lot of damage. Maxwell, Glacial Nebula fighting back off that kill. It looks like a nice pick, but it turned out RGM was the one in trouble.
Yeah, I think Victor is also doing a huge amount of damage. I know that Aliana's coming in and cleaning up, and she's in the right place at the right time, but that Victor, 424, 436 CS, that's like 20 CS more than anybody else. But I think Glacial Nebula have a huge lead at this point. It's 5k even on Drakes, but that 5k gold is concentrated on Graves, Victor, and Volibear. And let me tell you, that sounds all right to me. The Volibear knows how to use gold, Graves knows how to use gold, Victor's an incredible late game scaler. So I think that RGM really have to are going to have to work on this. All right, we saw just a little skirmish in the mid lane. Graves feels confident enough that he will get in Zed's face 1v1. That is definitely not a good sign. I think ideally you would hope for Lissandra and Gidget Ninja on Hecarim to kind of get some sort of big CC in and blow up a support or blow up Zoe. Zoe is not actually very mobile. She happens to be holding a flash right now, but most of the time she doesn't have like fantastic escapes and can be vulnerable. Here we go.
Shadel going in. little bit overeager on that one. Is up against 3 people, takes a lot of damage.
Oh, man.
Battlestar gets put to sleep as well. Going to have to use Frozen Tomb on herself. Teleport coming down as well. Gets hit with the Battlestar. They're taking so much damage, down to about 10%. Teleport was stopped in the top lane. Both of those teleports, I think, were stopped. Not entirely sure how that occurred up there, but neither of them have that summoner spell anymore, and they are both still in the top lane. So whatever happened did happen. We're on to the Herald now, as Shadell just completely forced out. Glacial Nebula should have this uncontested.
So I think that TP saved at least 2 kills. Like, Volibear coming in at 5-1 with the kind of gold that he has, he would have wrecked that fight.
Speaking of Volibear, uses the ultimate in the top lane, Genji Ninja as well. Ghost went down, a lot of fighting, both down to 20% HP, but nobody died, shockingly enough. They both kind of just, gentleman's agreement, nah, we're done. Everybody walked away, nobody dies.
And while Volibear was distracting everybody, Graves goes ahead and picks up Herald. It's a nice pickup.
Yeah, that's true. That's a strong objective. Should be the turret in the mid lane if they want to break the mid lane tower, or they can try to kill it by themselves and then push for that tier 2. With that objective is something you can do, or drop it and then look toward the dragon. Sorry about that. I just knocked the mic stand. Apologies for that. Drag it up in 45 seconds. You can always drop the Herald, you know, kind of as a distraction before you go for the dragon. Hard to defend against the Herald and defend the dragon at the same time. So a lot of choices here for Glacial Nebula with the Herald. Definitely a good problem to have. They have too many things they can kill with it. So I expect them to kind of drop it and look for the dragon.
No, I hate that. At this point, they're so strong, they should only drop it after they kill everybody on the other team. Like, that's where they're going to get kind of maximum value from it. Like, the Drake is easy. I think they just prep for the Drake, sit in front, wait for the opponents to engage, and then kill them. I mean, the gold lead is good. They've got a comp that's really strong.
Gentlemen, Joby just melting faster than an ice cream sandwich on a summer day. Glacial Nebula has spawned up that Herald prior to the dragon. I never said it was a good idea, Merlin. I just said I thought they would do.
Well, now I like it. Now it kind of splits the team and provides another point of focus. So, like, right now, you can take a 4v4 in the river because Zed's not with the team. I think this is actually a really good fight for them to take, and it looks like they know it. They're going to drop in on this.
So much damage right at the start. Has cleanse and has flash. Genji Ninja is going to be taken off of this map. Aliuna trying to buy a little bit of time in the backline. Flashes over the wall before he gets hit with the Glacial Tomb. Yasuga now unstoppable as well. Aliuna was able to get himself to safety. Heater, though, might be looking for the ultimate. Blast Pro flashes over the wall. Heater, you got to ult somebody at some point. Uses the ultimate on the already dead target. Aliuna already going down. Not going to make any difference to Devout and Smaxwell now running for their lives. Yasuga is saying, let me into this one. I am going for the kill. Smaxwell now running away as well, but it's 4-4-1 at the end of the day. 4-for-2, I should say. Gentleman Joby did die as well, but it should be Dragon for Glacial Nebula.
4-for-2 plus Dragon. So, like, that was really well played. Cardinal rule of League of Legends. You don't take fights if you're man down. And they were a man down. They got picked. Gentleman Joby got picked off early in that fight. So despite the fact that they had a pretty good gold lead and they lost someone who did not have a lot of gold, they were still going to be 4v5 in that fight. But Aliana drops the Herald mid, draws Zed to the middle of the map. And it's very easy if you're RGM. You're like, hey, we just got a pick. That means Drake is ours. And they just kind of push in and they don't really think about next level, which is, you know what? We're not really man up on the map because Zed's got to go clear the Herald. And they decide to push in. They engage on the Victor. And then they fight a 4v4 down a huge chunk of gold and, you know, lose 2 extra kills on. They go 4-for-2 and lose the Drake. So I think the pick was great. You just needed to play that bit slower. You needed Zed with you in that the next fight in order to convert that pick into something more substantial. But because they kind of felt like they were strong and played it too fast, they ended up just giving back more ground.
I do agree. I also think they have to realize that Gentleman Joby is not the strongest member on his team, right? He's definitely the weakest member of this Glacial Nebula side, and so they use a lot of ultimates too. They use Smaxwell's ultimate to pick up the kill. You know, not a lot of ultimates, but an important ultimate for that one kill. And you're no unstoppable force, and you've only taken out the most weak member. That was a great sentence, Carl. In Gentleman Joby. And so this Volibear just kind of ran rampant on the back line. There was nobody to stop him. Wasn't able to be crowd controlled. Killed a bunch of people. Aliuna bought a lot of time. Blast Pro had the flash to get himself over the wall too to stay alive. And a great use of those summoners and just those abilities in general by Glacial Nebula's Heater now using every ability he has to get away. Flash and the Shadow use to get away from his 4-man dive in the top lane. But the tower does go down. Glacial Nebula in complete control of the map.
Right. I mean, I think Glacial Nebula should just take this fight. I mean, I know it's 3v3, but they see Hecarim farming on the bot side. This is a chance to still kind of get something done.
Might look to go in. Decide not to. They're just going to back away. Maybe look toward the Baron, try to get some vision around that. A little bit too early, especially without an AD carry to really do that objective, but you definitely could go for a bit of a bait. Actually, might see a gank in the mid lane. Ginja Ninja looking toward Gentleman Joby. Has flash available. See if he's able to outplay this one. Onslaught Shadow is going to use the fear, sending him in quite a convenient direction. Gentleman Joby uses the Zanya. Buying a little bit of time, but he is going to be taken out at the end of that ability. He is gone once again. Onslaught of Shadow as well as this fight is going to continue now. Shadell trying to get himself away from this. Goes in, Frozen Tomb on himself to buy some time, put some damage out and heal himself, but he is going to be taken out by Blastro at the end of that one. Yasuga now running forward. Doesn't have a lot of mana, but he might look for the engage. At the same time, Soul Shackles burn actually might have vouched just to try to, convince him not to go in for that one. 1 for 1. Once again, a pick and then getting picked back.
Yeah, I feel like Shadell actually bought like a huge amount of time with the Zonias, and I don't know whether it's like a communication issue, but they are a wombo combo team, right? They got Lissandra ult, they've got Hecarim ult, they got Malphite ult, and the Malphite ult was up. And I felt like she got, when she ulted herself in the brush, there were a lot of people around. I almost wish that they had tried to follow up instead of just backing off and letting her die, because you're down 7k, you're down a Drake, you haven't had that many good fights, you're kind of trying to take a low probability fight. You're kind of okay with that at this point, and I think that that was a reasonable shot. If they all kind of pile in on that initiation, I think they might have been able to make something happen. So I hope they're kind of looking for small chances like that.
Looking for a pick onto Adgerina is what they're doing at the current moment. Shadell walking forward does have that Frozen Tomb available to get it down onto a priority target there. It does go down Yasuka very low. Oh, but he is just going to keep himself alive. Shadell not able to pick up the kill. Adgerina has gone down, however, to this double kill now for Heacher as they pick off Gentleman Joby as well. So they are able to get their original target, plus the mid laner. Another pick coming through for RGM. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, they also chunked out the Volley Bear pretty heavily, so without him in the fight to kind of frontline chase CC, they're definitely going to be a lot weaker. But that was a good fight by RGM, 2 for 1 in time for Drake, which spawns at 47. Looks like they'll probably just get a little vision, but I would really like it if they send at least one to kind of push that bot lane in. The death timers are long enough they could probably get some damage on that bot turret, maybe clear it while they and still be able to rotate for Drake in time. As it is, they're all kind of floating around, looking for river vision, letting the mid-wave crash on the turret and die without anybody picking it up. 25 seconds, are they really just gonna like sit on all that time? They actually lost mid-turret. Those minions were enough to kind of clear it. So, gotta make the most of your time. Every second counts. And pushing in 40 seconds before Drake starts to lay down vision, not optimal. You wanna make sure that you get your lanes and your waves in order. Uh-oh, here we go.
Might see a fight. I think, just to briefly expand on that, I think the pushing in the waves is okay as long as you're also, or pushing in the vision is okay as long as you're also getting waves and you're safe to do so, but you need to have your side waves fixed before you go for objectives. Glacial Nebula does have control of these waves. They can go for this even down a person. Eventually, the teleports have come through for both of these teams. It's now a 5 versus 5 Maxwell in the front line. Looking to start this fight off. Sleepy Trouble Bubble. They go down on again. Going very low, very quickly. RGM taking a lot of damage. There's just a lot of damage going over in this fight in general. Both teams are down 1 member at this point. Gentleman Joby has been killed onto Shadell as well, flipping it in Glacial Nebula's favor. Devout has fallen as well. This is going all in favor of Glacial Nebula as we continue on in the fight. Gentleman Joby with a nice bubble over the wall. Gonna barely miss Ginja Ninja, flashing himself forward. Heacher is next to him. I'm not sure if he did see it, trying to pick up kill onto Ginja Ninja, who runs himself away. The dragon goes over in favor of Glacial Nebula. Gentleman Joby still chasing onto Heacher. Could be in a bit of trouble, but does have Zani to buy time if he does get jumped on by this Master of Assassins. Heacher and Ginja Ninja just running literally for the hills, trying to get themselves away. That's a great bubble landed, but Heacher going to have the cleanse available to get himself away. Vision does go down. This could be an extended chase here. Gentleman Joby is saying, don't you get away from me, I'm coming for you, as well as the Bully Bear. Can they get onto Heacher, actually? Recalling in the bush, really know he's there, decide not to check it, and move toward the Baron.
Nice extended fight. The Victor is just sitting in the back line doing a ton of work. His second item was Lichbane, which gives him that empowered auto off of any of his abilities, and he's got Luden's Echo, so he has 3 items and is just going to do a ton of damage.
Questionable Baron, Merlin. I am not entirely a huge fan of this Baron. Unstoppable Force is almost available. Shadell going in as well. He has Frozen Tomb. Spike comes down from Zoe. There's the Unstoppable Force picking up 1 kill. Baron did go over in favor of Glacial Nebula, but what will the fight have in store? Aliena gets over the wall, as does Yasuga, and a great disengage by Glacial Nebula. They're able to get themselves away, only losing 1 member.
Unbelievable disengage, and they get the recalls back. My only complaint there is that Finger Blast Pro, as he walked out, did not try and lay down some damage to support his team. He's got incredible range and can go over the wall. And I felt like, pick by Zed.
Yeah, 1,000 gold for Zed. That's actually a big deal. That's a big shutdown that goes over to him. And another Baron taken off. The split pusher will not have that. So buying a little bit of time, but overall probably not a huge deal. But you take the kill where you can take the kill and the 1,000 gold.
Absolutely, Yasuke was just really low. He was sitting at like 300-400 health. And he decided to farm Krugs. Maybe suboptimal. I will say RGM, let's give props where it's due. They got a pink ward deep in Glacial Nebula's red side jungle, and they probably saw him rotate to top, and since there's no minions at that outer still up, they probably knew that there was a chance he was on Krug. So it was probably just Zed doing a good job, Aliana doing a great job picking up that ward. Like, she knew that because Yasuke died that top side, that Volibear died top side, that there had to be a ward there. They couldn't just kind of blindly move into the Krugs and pick it up. So that was really nice process of elimination, figuring out that that ward was there. And we go back. It's an 8k gold lead. We're starting to get some big items down. A lot of people with 3 items. Volibear with 3 items. We've got Victor working on Rabadons. He's going to be a nightmare when he picks that up for sure.
Might see a flank here coming through. Maxwell trying to maybe get a pick onto Yasuko, or onto the backline, but good discipline by Glacial Nebula. They put down some vision, make sure they know where that Malphite is before they look to fight. Heater gonna have to get himself out. He's gonna get stunned up. He's gonna take a lot of damage very quickly. Has to use the shadow to get over the wall. Finally does commit that ability, but Yasuko is buying so much time for his team. Poke coming through from Gentleman Joby as well. Glacial Nebula with quite a strong siege here. They're not able to get a kill, but they take Heater down to half HP. Shadella's taken some poke devout. Less than 100%. Another wave comes rolling in, and this Cannonman is doing work on the inhibitor turret, down to about 20%. That's going to fall even lower. They have a second Cannonman in as well. This is just a great siege by Glacial Nebula. At some point, RGM have to pull the trigger, but they're taking so much damage, they're just not able to do so. Base has been broken. There is the fight going in. 1 kill pick up straight away. Maxwell dies before he can ult. That low health did come back to haunt him. Yasuko just running rampant in this fight. Shadell taken down to 10% as well. He has to back away, and that's a free inhibitor for Glacial Nebula, and they might look for more as well. It's 5 versus 4. They decide not to. They back off. They take the inhibitor and the 1 kill and go towards top lane.
Okay, so I hate that defense. I think there was a lot that could have gone better for RGM. When Volibear had gone to the bot side to chunk out the Zed, that was your go button. They needed to just go there while the 9-2-9 monster Volibear was distracted with the Zed. Let Zed be the bait. You guys go in hard on the Zoe, Karma, Victor, and just try and make something happen then. Also, the Malphite has ult, and he never used it. Uh-oh, we got a good Sleepy Trouble bubble cleansed out.
Nice cleanse. Heater keeping himself safe. Does get ignited, but he keeps his life alive.
Right. But the Malphite didn't use his ult. Like, there were opportunities where they were clumped as 4, and if he's going to give his life, he might as well give it while the tower's still up, hitting 4 people. I know you're not going to survive the initiation. You don't have the items. You're Malphite. You're not as farmed. You didn't get the kills. But instead, you just let it fall and then die on the backside anyway. Definitely a worst case scenario for RGM. So I hope they have a better plan than to just kind of roll over and give the inhib for bot or top, because they've gotta pick a defense. They do not have a bad team. They've got a great wombo combo. I like the comp. But they gotta play towards their strengths, and their strengths is initiation, and all in is 5. And as it is, they're getting picked on. And
yeah, speaking of all in, there it is coming through from Yasuko. This fight is going to commence. RGM trying to dive the backline. Blast throw very low. He's going to be taken out of this one. You have to feel there is the shutdown. 1,000 gold in favor of Genji Ninja, who picks up a double kill for himself. He's trying to keep his team alive, trying to preserve the lead they have in this series. They are just getting run at by Yasuko. 2 for 2 so far in this fight. Make it 3 for 2 in favor of Glacial Nebula. The Volibear is starting to prove himself. Devout taken pretty low. The nice bubble over the wall for a bit of zoning. Devout is going to fall here very shortly. Gentleman Joby walks forward to pick up the 1 kill. Has the Zanya still to keep himself alive if he needs to buy a little bit of time. Nice bubble on the Heater. There is that Zanya. I don't think Heater's going to be able to pick up this 1 kill. Maybe he will. Nice flash by Gentleman Joby to keep himself safe. There's the ace in favor of Glacial Nebula, and they pick up the soul.
Yep. Amazing. You know, I really liked RGM's play. They initiated, Volibear kind of initiated, and then they all just ran past it. They said, forget the Volibear, we're not going to even look at him. And they got to the Victor, and they got the kill on the 10-3-9 Victor, which if you just leave him untouched in the backline, he will absolutely wreck you. So I think that the macro choices about who to fight and where to fight were quite good, but that Volibear is just so strong. And unless you get like 2 or 3 clean without the Volibear interfering, it's just going to be hard to fight the Volibear on the backside. And he ended up being able to clean everything up along with Gentleman Jovi, while Aliana took the Dragon Soul. So I think that was a better defense and smart and did the things that they needed to do and met with some limited success in the sense that they were able to get one of the big late game mega carries in the back line that Glacial Nebula are carrying. But it might be a little too late. They're down 12k at this point, and I think one more Baron rotation might spell the end for this one.
You have to think this would be the end. One more fight should be enough for Glacial Nebula to win the rest of this game. Just win the game. You know, they don't even need to win the rest of it. Win the whole thing. You know, take the whole game, take the Nexus, make it blow up, and win the game. But I don't even know if the Baron's necessarily necessary for them. I think they just need to win a fight. So if you can start the Baron, win a fight off of that, RGM I think has to come face check this, try to look for the fight. If you can just win the fight, I don't even think you need to take the Baron. I think you can just push down mid lane and probably end. You have the inhibitors open. So I think that's also a viable plan for them. I think what Glacial Nebula need to not do is wait for this Elder Dragon to come up. I think it's too much of a win condition for RGM. If they're able to steal it, if Genji Ninja is able to pick that one up, you definitely can win the game with Elder Dragon. That buff is really, really strong. And so I think Glacial Nebula need to be looking to end the game in the next 4 minutes or so before that objective comes up.
I agree. Elder Dragon is monstrously strong, even if you don't have a lot of kills. Here we go, looking for a pick on the Volibear.
They are throwing everything at the Volibear, and it's just not working. He's down to half HP, but they're losing so much for it. Genjin is actually healing up a ton in this fight, but Yusuke's now on a killing spree. Glacial Nebula reestablishing control in this fight. They pick up 3 kills. They're going to pick up 4 kills. It's going to be the ace here very shortly as well. Heater's trying to get himself away. The smite could come down. Gentleman Jovi misses the bubble, but it's just buying a little bit of time. Heater's taken out. That is an ace for Glacial Nebula, and this is going to be the end of the game. There are already creeps on the Nexus Tower, perfectly placed for them to just win the game here. They march into the base. One Nexus Tower is still standing. It's now being the focused target. That has been a great game by Glacial Nebula. They fight back from their defeat in game number 1 and send us to game 3, tied in the series 1-1.
Absolutely, it was super, super strong. Total 180-degree change from that initial game. I stand by our comments at the beginning of the game. The Lissandra did not work out, as well as the Syndra, just not the same kind of kill pressure, not the same kind of push control that you get with a Syndra. I don't know why teams like to kind of mix it up when you're playing a multi-game series. You've got to think of a multi-game series as like how many cards are dealt in poker. You got to hide some and show some. And there's no point in bringing out another pick if you have one that works. They got to show you how they can beat your current hand before you move on to the next one. So we've got game 3 and game 4 coming up. Shadel could go back to the Syndra, possibly. You know, it remains to be seen. But the Glacial Nebula really showed a good comp, a strong comp. Moving forward, I really think, you got to give props to Yasuke on that Volibear. I think Aliana, she did great on the Graves. It was a totally different game from the previous. And then the Victor, just a monster in the bot lane. They are not invulnerable picks, though. There are definitely ways you can beat these. But I'm going to go ahead and call out the easiest way to beat the Volley, which is you ban him in Champion Select. I think that is probably a necessary ban for RGM to kind of come back in the next match. The Zed ended up working really well. And the Lissandra did not, so hopefully we can change that a little bit up. What do you think about top and jungle? Are we still happy with the Malphite? What do you think about the Hecarim?
I think the Malphite was good in the comp that had the Yasuo. I think it did really well in enabling Yasuo to really pop off in the team fights, giving him those free knockups. I think it fell really flat in the comp without him, especially against the Volibear. I think if this Malphite's up against something like a Maokai, just more of a chill lane where he's not actually going to get traded on that much, isn't going to be going down, I don't think it's as bad. But I think against a bruiser type like Volibear, I think the Malphite just falls a little bit flat. He doesn't have the damage to go back. Yasuka's Volibear, it's not an auto-attacking champion per se, so the attack speed slow is not really going to matter a whole lot against him. And I think that it just didn't do a whole lot in this game. There were a couple good ultimates, but overall, without the Yasuo, it just didn't have the same potential that I think it did in the first game. And so I think, maybe it was okay paired with the Hecarim. You know, it worked out for them in the last game, but I think without the Yasuo, there wasn't a whole lot of reason to pick it over something like a Maokai, something like an Ornn that can go toe-to-toe with Yasuko a little bit more, or even something more bruiser type. Like pick Darius, pick Camille, Fiora, something that can actually go toe-to-toe with him in lane and really take him to task. Because this Volibear in both of these games has gotten really far ahead and just kind of taken over the game. It's just in the first one, they were a little bit too far behind for it to really matter.
Agreed. I really hate the Malphite, and quite frankly, Smaxwell plays Urgot and Mordekaiser, and those are both champs I really like that he's super comfortable on. 100 games a piece on those champs. Yes, those are getting banned out, but I think sometimes you can just go ahead and blind your top on one of his mains in the first 3 picks, and kind of do a little roll the dice. Say, we're going to ban your Volibear. What do you have against Urgot? I mean, you know, what do you have against Mordekaiser? Mordekaiser's a strong champ. There are some counters, but if you're super comfortable, that can be something you can really get rolling on.
Definitely do agree. We'll see how these teams decide to flip up the draft in game number 2. That draft is right around the corner. We're going to go to a short break right now as we get set for this third game in this series. 1-1 so far between Royal Griffin, Majesty, and Glacial Nebula. We could be going the full distance. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back for game number 3 here in the promotion relegation match between Royal Griffin Majesty and Glacial Nebula. The score is currently tied 1-1, so we are all even here. Essentially playing a best of 3 now. This is a best of 5 overall. Look, each team looking to put the other team on the back foot for game number 4 here. I am Jarl Carl alongside Merlin here in our first edition of Merlin Mondays.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. I'm glad to be here. And this is not a best of 3. This is a best of 5, and it makes a difference because there's so much history going on. We've had these first 2 games where disaster struck for both teams. I think that we should definitely be seeing a Yasuo ban right here. There it is, because he wrecked the first game. And we really needed that. And despite the fact that Volibear has been super effective, we are still not seeing a Volibear ban on the part of RGM. And it looks like this was pro drafted. It looks like, so we don't necessarily see these picks in order, but it does look like they put Mordekaiser, Yasuke on Mordekaiser. The top laner for Glacial Nebula is getting to play his main. He is no longer on Malphite duty to just farm up and ult and do nothing else and be poor all game long. He is expected to carry. And maybe Smaxwell on the side of RGM decided that Aatrox is the counter that he wants to not just survive lane, but to thrive. It looks like RGM also took Volibear away. They're no longer playing the Hecarim in the jungle. They decided they would take the Volibear, as they did have first pick. I assume that was probably their first pick. Alionon Graves again. And then we've got Syndra picked up, it looks like this time for mid lane instead of bot lane. Along with Irelia going up against it. Irelia can be really strong and really oppressive, but she has a high skill cap, and Syndra has a stun push away. I do not feel like that's an Irelia favored lane. So long as Syndra doesn't push needlessly and is smart about holding her stun and the engages, I do not think that that's a bad lane. So I am a little concerned about Gentleman Joby in this matchup. What are your thoughts, Carl?
We've also seen Gentleman Joby have a few problems, let's say, throughout the series with the whole staying alive situation. So might see him go a little bit too deep once again. He has had kind of a plethora of picks in this series so far, picking up some kind of random picks, it seems, at different times. But I like the Irelia mid lane in general. I don't think it's great against Syndra, but if he's able to dodge the Syndra stun, he can get right on top of her. Syndra has basically nothing else to do. So if he's able to get in, he should be able to stay in, but he might have a little bit of trouble with access. We're going to see more mages in the bot lane for Blast Pro, going with the Veigar in this game, Veigar, I should say, up against Shadel's Varus. I like this pick a lot, going with a more standard AD carry. I would expect to see on hit maybe this game. I don't know. I think it's pretty ambiguous what you could go in this game. There's not too many tanks. There's not no tanks. So I think either build is viable here for Shadel, kind of depending on whether he wants lane pressure or more of a team fight capability.
He's definitely going to go for penetration. So RGM did ban the Victor, who was a monster scaler in the ADC slot bot lane for Glacial Nebula. And so instead they're picking Veigar, which is similar in some ways and very different in other ways. So Veigar is a mass scaling champ like Victor, but he has no lane presence. Like he really, I'm a mid main and I play a lot of Veigar, and he has one ability through level 6. He just has his Q. His W is erratic, hard to land. The bind, if you can't follow through with enough damage to kill, it's not super useful except as an escape. But Varus can just throw those Qs over and over and over again, and he ranges the Veigar. This is actually, I think, a very RGM favored lane, and I expect them to be under turret and taking damage and getting poked out and potentially handing over kills, depending on how the lane goes. I know he's got a Karma support, but the Veigar is just not going to play like the Victor. He can't trade back damage. I don't think that Yasuke, who had a great TP gank on the Volibear last match, is going to be able to have that kind of impact necessarily. So I think that I really like the whole RGM draft here. They've got the Volibear. So long as Aatrox can do well into the Mordekaiser, I like their bot lane. I like their mid lane. I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but I really worry about that Veigar. Varus with penetration for the first like 6 levels is just so strong. And his weakness is that He doesn't have any mobility and he's easy to gank. That's why you don't take a Varus mid. A Varus mid suffers from ganks from both sides. It doesn't have anyone to partner with, but in this lane, I think he's gonna really dominate. So I think Shadell has the potential to really show as a carry in this match, and certainly the Lysandra did not work out the way they had hoped. I think this will be really interesting. It's a little bit curious that they didn't flex the Syndra down to him. I assume the Syndra was picked up early, and they decided based on further picks to not run that bot lane. But Shadell did have a really nice game one on that Syndra, got fed and definitely carried.
A nice flex pick though to have in the draft, and I think Varus does really well against Vigar, especially with a Braum can land the slow, easy Qs. Vigar is quite squishy. I think the lethality build probably is superior in this game for Shadell just to have that lane pressure, and I think that's what to go for. He does need to stay at range from this Vigar. There's also not a lot of gank threat. Graves is not a great ganking jungler without setup. Adgerina would need to kind of run in, try to go for the W and the stun, but Devout can block that off. Shadell should be able to run away, at least stand behind Braum. So I think the bot lane will be pretty safe here for RGM, which I think is a good sign for them in this game. Farm up, really push Blast Pro and Adgerina back. And I think they'll have a lot of success. I like everything about their team comp. My favorite part is that they finally figured out that Volibear is worth picking or banning. They did decide to go for that pick. So I'm excited to see what Genja Ninja can do on this. Yasuka finally taken off of this pick, which he performed very well on in the first 2 games. So I think it's great to have the Volibear off of his hands onto their team now. If you are an RGM fan, the Aatrox in the top lane, we'll see how it works out. Doesn't have a great track record in style esports, but hey, maybe he's going to pop off on it. We will see after we load into game. We're going to take a break. As we do so, we will see you all on the Rift in just a couple of minutes. Welcome onto the Rift, everybody, for game number 3 here between Royal Griffin, Majesty, and Glacial Nebula. Everybody's loaded in. In fact, my color caster, Merlin, has been a little bit too loaded in, so he is stuck at 2 minutes into the game, so I'm going to be bringing you the first 2 minutes. It's going to be just me here on Merlin Mondays. Here. It might be Jarl Mondays. That doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Merlin having a nice chuckle about it, which is always good. You gotta laugh about the technical difficulties, but we're gonna have a level 1 engage. Everybody's going in, 5-man fight here, level 1. RGM now running for the hills. Deval gonna be taken down for first blood in favor of Yasuka. Maxwell has to get himself out as well. Heater walking back in, but that might not be the right decision, and it's a double kill in favor of Glacial and Nebula here. 55 seconds into the game, they're already 1,000 gold ahead. Merlin, I don't know if you have any thoughts about the implications of that. I know you can't see it. What do you think?
I think a double kill onto Mordekaiser, which is your top 1 trick. I think this is going to be a monstrous game for him. He, I believe, got a recall up before he got to lane. Is that right?
It is right. He has 2 cloth armors and 2 potions in addition to his Doran's shield. Honestly, I think this lane's probably just over for Maxwell. Yeah. That's a lot of armor. He has 30 extra armor. Let me just check his stats. He has 73 armor right now. He has doubled his starting armor. I don't know how Maxwell is ever going to deal with this lane. He still has flash. I guess he didn't use flash when he died, but honestly, I don't think Yasuka is going to have that much trouble surviving it and even thriving in this lane, right? He has those double cloth armors to keep himself alive. Should be accelerating his build a little bit as well. I'm sure those will build into items at some point here in the future. So that was just a disastrous start here for RGM as we approach the 2-minute mark in the bot lane as well. Everybody just kind of farming up so far. Mid lane, just a farm fest as well. So it doesn't look like we're going to have a whole lot of other action in the early game. Everybody kind of spooked, I would imagine, after that level 1. You know, you face check the bush, 2 of your members die. I think you're going to be a little bit less likely to be going for plays in the near future.
Absolutely. I will say Aliana also has a good wave clear. She's starting on blue side where she gets that leash and then has a strong clear, so that's going to be good for the jungler. But I feel like this Mordekaiser, he has absolutely nothing to fear, and I think he's going to just push in this poor Aatrox over and over again and harass and get damage down, and without ganks, that lane is going to be really, really difficult to play. I will say mid lane, it looks like Syndra already has level 3 to the Aurelia's level 2, and the Aurelia did not get anything done that level 1. And that is really, really bad. Level 1 is kind of one of the spots where she actually shines and has some strengths.
Apologies once again, everybody, if that was a little too audible. Bumping the mic stand. Once again, I'm just so excited about these games. I can't keep it in. Bumping into everything. Heater down in the mid lane. Could be in a little bit of trouble. Nice stun on a Gentleman Joby. Doesn't have Ignite to try to go for the kill. Probably just going to have to use the flash, but Aliona straight over the wall. Gentleman Joby as well. They are committing straight into this. They're going to be picking up this kill. You have to feel. Meanwhile, we saw the dive come across, I think, in the top lane. Not sure what happened. Might have been just a gank. Yasuka goes down. I said he might be unkillable. Turns out, Caster Curse came through. He goes down.
Volibear picked up the kill on the top side. Not a bad place for it to go. And the Aurelia got the kill mid. One minor point, I wish the Graves had helped her push out. She does have a fast clear, but it's really important to get that back timing as crisply as possible when you've got gold in your pocket like that. As it is, Graves, I think, is just going to pick up the scuttle.
Going to get that bot crab. Always good to have a little bit of vision control, of course, for themselves. And it kind of stops that early dragon usually from Genji Ninja here because he will be on vision. You can go over the other side of the wall with the blast cone, but it is a little bit risky. The dragon sometimes in Fog of War gets a little bit weird, and if you are spotted out, you can find yourself in a world of hurt very quickly in the dragon pit. You do get very low, of course, going for those early dragons, so could be a little bit of an insurance policy there. Genji Ninja clearing out a ward in the top lane, trying to keep Maxwell safe. Bramble Vest has been completed already for Yasuka, so that is really an early boon. I know the kill went back over, so a little bit of that was traded back over. The shutdown went to Genji Ninja, not to Maxwell, so he is going to be a little bit behind still in this game. Against that Bramble Vest, I don't think we're going to see any solo action, although the ganks coming through could still be in the favor of Genji Ninja and Maxwell and the rest of RGM if they decide to go for that, but for now, Aliona is hovering on the top side, so I think this Mordekaiser should be okay to get to level 6, I would presume, before any more major fighting happens on the top side.
Yeah, I think so. Eyes on that bot lane. Aurelia really likes long lanes, and if she can stack up her passive, she's really got to land that snare, though. If she does not land that snare, she cannot get that resets and continue to follow up. But she does have a long lane. We've got junglers kind of hurrying in the area. We'll see if she can kind of get that engage happening.
Gentleman Joby chilling in the mid lane, missing the stuns though, like you were just mentioning. Could be a little bit unfortunate. Heater just dodging to the right. Everybody taking a quick sidestep. on those blades. You do want to get away from those as well. Bot lane so far has been very peaceful. I thought we might see a little bit more trading, but Blast Pro just kind of farming up the Q, farming up the AP for himself. Keep track of that. We're going to see a gank. Midlane Gentleman Joby going to get stunned up with the Scatter of the Weak. Stun coming through from Genji Ninja as well, channeling that CC. There is the stun in return. Finally lands the Blades, but Gentleman Joby is just going to get taken out. You have to think, oh, he's turning it around. The Triumph as well. What a great heal for himself. Can't keep himself alive. There's the ultimate. Not going to be enough, but Gentleman Joby really going for the outplay in the mid lane. Trades a kill back.
Absolutely. Really impressive that he was able to trade that back. That he was at almost 0 health, but knew that he felt like he could turn on the volley bear, and that gives Aliuna a chance to invade, check out whether there's any farm available. I will say, I don't understand what's happening with this bot lane. We have an ADC, and yes, it's a melee support, but how do they not have the push? Is it just like karma or what? Because you would expect them to force the kind of mage bot laner under turret, and that is a huge deal. Like, once you force them under turret, you can harass better, you can hit them with Qs, you can kind of harass with impunity. So it's a big deal that this lane has not worked out that way, and I think it's like way more favorable than I expected.
World Ender popping the top lane. Yasuka in the death realm with Smaxwell trying to go for the fight under tower, but Smaxwell just runs away, and his jungler is here. Genji Ninja, they come out of the death realm, I should say. Yasuka can get stunned up. Can he get to the blast cone? Is he able to get himself away? Yes, he is. Both flashes burn for RGM and for Glacial Nebula top laner, but 2 flashes for 1. Yasuka gonna survive.
Yeah, that's a good deal, and also clever. So he's going in. And I didn't really like the ult. I didn't feel like he had the damage. Missed his E, which is okay, but he knew that he had to pass through his opponent's turret to get out. It was a max range flash over the wall, and he knew he could hop that blast cone out. There's like a couple different things that you could do to make that gank work. One, use the blast cone to get over the edge so he doesn't necessarily have that as an escape. But really good by Yasuke, who's, I think, down in CS but up in kills, and I think probably doing fine in the lane.
Yeah, I think he's doing okay overall. He is down a little bit, yes, like you mentioned, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal going forward. If he's able to stabilize, there's a big wave pushing into his turret as well, so he should be able to even it up a little bit. Is still up a couple of 100 gold in this as well. Has the Ocean Dragon too for a bit more sustain for himself in the mid lane. Gentleman Joby just missing that stun. Once again, one of these has to connect. He can get a lot of damage onto Heater if that stun lands. Get the reset on the Q, really start stacking that damage coming through. Hasn't been able to do so.
I like that they're hitting over blue. Aurelia can be very mana heavy, so getting blue is important to let her kind of sustain through the lane. Here we have a gank on the bot side and a TP coming in behind.
Edge Arena trying to get away. Double teleports coming through. That is, both top laners are going to arrive. Yasuka comes in first and just runs back to his team. Neither of those teleports terribly effective, but they did stop the gank.
They did. I don't mind Yasuke's TP, and quite frankly, once he TPs, it's important that Smaxwell follow. So I think that is good play followed by good play, and yeah, nothing really ends up happening out of it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't the right thing to do. As it is, Gentleman Joby's got this mid lane push that he should. I don't know why he's not pushing it in all the way. There he goes, starts to push it in all the way. Since Aurelia left lane, you want to try and drive it under turret, make sure you get your reset. Aurelia's got Lost Chapter, which is a big spike for her, and the farm is pretty similar. I think that mid lane's about to get really tough. Aurelia's not gonna do well into Syndra once Syndra hits 6. The Aatrox has also been quite good. Mordekaiser has not really gotten a hold of the Aatrox like I would have expected a 2-kill level 1 Aatrox to be able to do. He's building. It'll be interesting to see what he starts to build next. He hasn't really built any AP items, and Mordekaiser does do a lot of damage with AP items, so it'll be interesting to see how he ends up doing. I will say a bright spot for Glacial Nebula. This Vigar has had a free lane. He's got 55 passive stacks of Phenomenal Evil Power. He has Lost Chapter and Hextech Revolver building towards his GLP, the first Glacial Augment item. And once he builds that, and he's 6, like now he's got kill pressure. Like the early lane was when you needed to make something happen against him.
In the mid lane, Gentleman Joby going in. The Heater has the Mercury's Treads already built up, so he should be able to survive a lot of the damage from Heater. I don't really think we're going to see a lot of kills in this mid lane. Heater has Barrier, very defensive. Scatter of the Weak as well should be enough to keep himself safe. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Yasuka, we might have to hold that thought actually. Stun going to land. Genji Ninja caught out of position. There's the ultimate as well from Gentleman Joby. Could be going in and out of the Heater, but he does get pushed back. Nobody actually has died so far, and Blastro going very low at the end of this one. This fight is just turning on its head. Gentleman Joby is still alive. No ultimate available. Change of corruption go down. Gonna be the stun on Gentleman Joby. Devout going very low. Another stun misses from this Irelia, but he does pick up the kill. That's the second of the fight. Unleash Power going to take him down. Adriana now running for her life. I think she is going to be able to escape from this one. Probably take another Q from Jadel. No, she will not. Able to get away. Very messy fight in the end. Not sure who came out on top. Everybody kind of backs away. I'd have to say RGM, though. Both their carries are still alive.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think that because Graves didn't join that fight and because Glacial Nebula were fighting kind of man down and Graves picked up Herald, I think they actually came out on top of that fight just because they were doing more than just that fight on the map. As it is, they're not going to get the turret entirely.
Well, they'll kill a couple of plates. That fell a little flat. I thought they might try to go for the dive. I think if you're going to go for that play, you have to dive the turret and then just try to take it down with the Herald. I think the Herald and then not diving, a little bit premature on the Herald. Just, you get the plate money, but there's no real map gain from that. And that's really what you want to be doing with that first Herald, is to break down a turret, get through those really tough to break down plates and really open up the map. Wasn't able to do so there, and I think that really kind of gave back some of the advantage they gained from Graves doing the Herald during that fight.
Agreed. That was not a good use of the Herald, and quite frankly, 2 places over underwhelming. Volibear is caught out in the jungle. It looks like he'll probably be able to make his way out, but let's see.
Gentleman Joby lands the stun over the wall. Does have flash. Gonna have to commit that summoner if they want to go for this kill, but is gonna do so. Montague as well. Genshin just trying to jump himself out of this one. Running away from Gentleman Joby. Lightning goes down. Will be able to find his escape, and that's a flash for nothing for Gentleman Joby. Genshin Ninja just kind of walks himself out, uses the ultimate, and he's just fine.
Right. I think that was maybe a hair too aggressive. Drake comes up, so that'll be a point of contention for the teams, and Vigar is sitting in that bot lane, stacking his passive, farming up. He does have GLP. I actually think that you can work with this Vigar. I Vigar mid a lot, and I feel like I never get the jungle support I really want, but his setup with GLP is very, very good, and his execute on his ult does a lot of damage even rank 1. It looks like we're posturing around Drake, and it looks like it's going to be a 5v5. Waves are all kind of crashing in the mid. Let's see what happens.
Everybody is here. I don't love the positioning for RGM. They're kind of just caught in this choke point here. Yasuka flashing in. A lot of flashes are being traded out right now. Devout going to get stunned up as well. Gentleman Joby held in place by Atrons, just blown up by the Cinder. That's a huge shutdown onto the mid laner. Nebula trying to fight back. Yasuga has Shadell in the death room. That should be a kill. RGM very low. This could get turned on its head very quickly. Yasuga is going to be going down. No, he will not actually keep himself alive. Glacial Nebula doing great in this one. Heater has to run away. Smaxwell on very low HP as well. And Glacial Nebula win the fight 3-for-1. Might be 4-for-1 at the end of this one. Heater, a nice unleashed power though, trying to fight back in this. Now on a rampage. Adruina very low as well. Heater could be on for a double kill here. Adruina tries to throw the W back. That's a double kill there for Heater. The Dragon is still going to go down, but in the end, the fight is just 3-for-3. Only the Dragon really the winner there for Glacial Nebula.
Yeah, that Syndra is huge. So the Vigar came in, got the snipe. I think it was on the Volibear, kind of on the backside of that fight with his ult. Fine. Then everybody should just be rotating to Drake. Vigar is not super engage damage poke. That's not his style. His style is counter engage, maybe getting 1 stun, picking people off in a chaotic fight. But that Syndra dueled the entire bot lane to their detriment. And she's now 5-1-1. Got a 10-stack Dark Seal. If he converts that to Majai's and gets the 10% speed boost that you get when you have 10 stacks, I think she's going to be really, really strong. They're going to need to like focus something to get her down, to get those stacks off the Dark Seal. It's definitely possible to do. Vigar's got plenty of damage at this point. I just want them to kind of play around the bot side, play around that GLP, try and get more kills. Graves is close by, but he does nothing more than spot a Tri-Brush ward.
3 versus 3 down here in the bot lane. Graves going to walk away there. Eliona decides not to go for this gank. Genjin Ninja in the little cul-de-sac, as you said earlier, the alcove, as it's officially known. Could be going for the engage, but just kind of at an impasse here in the bot lane. Genjin Ninja looking for the right angle. I expect him to go soon, though, is why I'm really hyping this up, but They shouldn't be doing so. Double stun in the mid lane. Gentleman Jovi and Heech are going to each go their separate ways. This could be the engage. They walk up. Is this what he wants? Genji Ninja, this is your time to go. You have to go for it. Lightning goes down. Chain of Corruption going to miss. Edgerina going to flash away from that one. Double stun. Comes down. Going to get knocked up, though, by the Legend Ninja. Edgerina has no hope of escaping this one. Genji Ninja has picked up the kill onto the support. Devout able to get himself out as well. Teleport, though, being channeled in the backline. This is the Mordekaiser. He's going to take somebody to the Death Realm. You have to feel Genji Ninja lands the stun. There is the Death Realm coming down. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Gentleman Joby just going in onto Heater. There's the shutdown for the Irelia back in the bot lane. Ultimate from Genji Ninja to keep himself alive. Yasuka not able to get anything in the Death Realm. He's going to be going down as well. Maxwell has picked up the kill. He teleported in. Finger Blast Pro not able to get himself away either. She's going to be going down. Shaydell has picked up that kill, and it's RGM that's fighting back in this game.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that TP. Why TP to a losing fight? Like, it's really difficult to do. Yes, he went to the Death Realm. Did he pick somebody up in the Death Realm?
No.
Yeah, I think he took the Volley Bear, and yeah, the Volley Bear hasn't gotten like a ton of kills, but still not able to do it. Graves did some work getting a topside turret, but you fed a lot of kills there, and they need to be really, really careful about that. So when you lose your support and you've got Vygar and you're facing 3 or 4, you want to be super careful not to take a man down fight. It's just not worth it to try and engage and just kind of further compound the problem. I really like the patience that Volley Bear had. He just stood in the alcove all day until Karma walked up to try and clear that pink board. And it resulted in a kill, 2 kills. So I think the patience was rewarded, and Glacial Nebula really didn't get a lot done on the map elsewhere. 1.5k gold lead from Glacial Nebula. Despite the fact that they're even on kills, they still have a tiny bit of a gold lead from the extra CS that they've got while some of the Royal RGM team was rotating and ganking. But it's anyone's game. This is game 3 of a best of 5, and it's super close. Anyone's match at this point.
Definitely is. And game number 3 and a best of 5 when it is 1-1, you know, this situation, it means so much going on into game number 4. You know, you put somebody in a must-win situation. You got to win 2 games in a row. It's just a really strong position to be in. So this game is very important for this series. And I think both these teams are kind of showing it. There's been a little bit more restraint in this game. They're playing a little bit more scared, a little bit more hesitantly. They don't want to be the one to make that mistake that's going to lose you game number 3. And I think that's, you know, a really smart way to play, right? This is such an important game. You do need to be at your best. Genji Ninja here going for the repeat. Aliona is here as well, so we might see a 3v3 in the bot lane. There are no teleports available, so it should be just the 3 of them. Although Maxwell is walking down due to that dragon being up. There is Chain of Corruption onto Aliona, or Adriana, I should say. She is taken down straight away. Shaydell has picked up that kill. Great CC chain from them. Genji Ninja ultimate not quite available, but at least it wasn't used. It's actually going very low. There is collateral damage. Not going to be able to kill. Blast Pro as well, flashing to try to get the primordial burst. Not going to be available. Maxwell has come in as well. World Ender has been popped, but he goes straight into the event horizon. Did a science, might be a little bit too much for him. Aliona going to have to flash away. Flash to followed by Maxwell. He's not able to pick up the kill. Not in the center with that 3rd Q. RGM, another very successful gank. They still have the Volley Bear ultimate, but he's a little bit low. They look toward the dragon.
I really wish that Aurelia would rotate to these fights. It's really hard for her to get a lot done in the mid lane. Here she does going in.
Might tell a lie. She's going in. Gentleman Joby trying to pick up another solo kill, but he is going to die for it. So both mid laners just go down. Not a lot of impact, like you said. We're into the Death Realm now. Maxwell and Yasuka are battling it out in that one. Maxwell not getting the better of this exchange. He goes down, but bought enough time for the dragon to go over in favor of RGM. They are now on the full disengage. Devout trying to get away from Yasuka. Nice slow down from Shaydell with a bunch of arrows on the ground. Looks like everybody is going to escape. Dragon over for RGM.
Good dragon. It stalls the dragon soul for Glacial Nebula. We're still looking at a 2k gold lead after all that fighting happened. I think this game is going to go late. We've got all 3 outers up for Glacial Nebula, and despite the fact that they've gotten some ganks done, it doesn't really look like anything's like poised to go down. And if you look at these comps, I mean, Volley Bear obviously scales pretty well. Syndra has gotten ahead, but I feel like the Vygar, Mordekaiser, Aurelia, you gotta like that comp. I've been kind of waiting for them to put Aurelia in a side lane. At some point, I think that she probably has a better matchup against the Aatrox, who doesn't even have an item yet. But at this point, they've still kept Mordekaiser in those side lanes. He does have a Rylai's Crystal Scepter, so he will, once he gets on you, he's going to stay on you with his passive and kind of Qs on a 6-second cooldown. But I feel that, you know, this is definitely going to go late, and I think I like the scaling on Glacial Nebula a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. It looks like we have Syndra going top side, and the Aatrox is going mid, so we're going to see that Aurelia Aatrox battle a little earlier than I thought. Aurelia's got a 2-level lead on the Aatrox, though. In a long lane, I do not think that necessarily favors the Aatrox.
I actually like both of these, the mid and top lane matchup a little bit more for Glacial Nebula. I like the Mordekaiser into the Syndra as well. You know, he has the magic resist boots, has a little bit of health. I don't think he's going to be able to be burst down. And if he can get Syndra in the Death Realm, I think Syndra has virtually no chance. You know, sure, she can land one stun, but there's so much CC just passively from Yasuka. I think he will get the better of her. So I like these lane assignments for Glacial Nebula so far. In the bot lane, you wouldn't even know it's 20 minutes into the game. Both the turrets are still up. They're just kind of chilling, farming it out. Blast Pro just, you know, getting a lot of AP. This champion scales infinitely, and it's something to watch out for as you go later in the game. He's got a lot of AP, even only 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah, 2 items, Twin Shadows and GLP. I'm not a huge fan of Twin Shadows. It's okay. I will say that because he's got a passive that stacks AP, I really like Death Cap on it, because then you're not just multiplying the AP items that you're building, but you're also multiplying the AP that you collect passively off of your passive. And here we go.
In the mid lane, Gentleman Joby going very deep, picking up 1 kill. I don't think he's going to be able to go for any more than that. Actually trying to go in on a Heater, does so much damage. Can he pick up the kill? Oh, nice Zanya to buy some time. Gingerton to pick up that kill, but Gentleman Joby does an alarming amount of damage.
That was a nice bit of damage. I mean, if you look at the gold, he has a solid lead. He's right now at 9,700 versus the Syndra at 8,400, despite the fact that she's gotten a lot of kills, 632. The Aurelia has been farming very, very well, sitting at 184 farm. The Syndra's 162. Definitely a force to be reckoned with. The mechanics on Gentleman Joby, quite good. We've seen a lot of kind of high mechanic, skill-intense champions. We saw the Zoe last match, and I feel like the Aurelia is doing well. He got that kill under turret, which was quite nice. And here we see a gank attempt.
Blast Pro just walked away from everything. I'm not even sure he got hit by the Chain of Corruption, but he cleansed anyway, just to make sure. Oh, a failed ultimate from Genji Ninja as well. This fight starting off in disaster for RGM. We'll see if they're able to get anything else. Shadell gonna just get beat down in the Death Realm. Nothing he can do to keep himself alive. Yasuka now 1v2 on the backside while the rest of his team tries to kill this Aatrox. Both top laners just buying time for their teams, but it's Yasuka that's doing it a little bit better. Glacial Nebula just running rampant in this fight. They're able to pick it up 3-0 so far. Didn't even look like they had to break a sweat for that one, Merlin. They are just in complete control of this map.
Yeah, the way that fight broke out was just not going to favor RGM. You saw that Yasuke kind of was deep in the river and fighting there, and all the rest of the team was cutting back to turrets. And there was this like funny moment where Karma was like, okay, we got to go back in, we got to fight. And exactly at that moment, the Aatrox went in on them. And it was so confusing for Karma, because she was like, wait a minute, we're going to win this so hard. You're coming in. We're about to try and chase you down. And, they got all the kills. They had Vigar sitting in choke points with stun and Q and ultimate over and over and over again. That is not the shape and style of fight RGM need to win this. They need to win something where Volibear gets his ult off and kind of gets a straight up fight with a bunch of CC on the front line, and you're kind of front to back, and they know where Aurelia and Mordekaiser are. But that fight was not it. We have Drake up in 10 seconds. They do have position on the Drake despite being down a member. They're down their Syndra. I don't think they can start it. It looks like there's enough time for Glacial Nebula to get there in time, so we'll see. But it looks like we're going to see some posturing in a fight here at Drake.
Right on this one, Angelina and all sorts of trouble gets hit by the Chain of Corruption. She could be going down straight away in this fight. Throws herself another shield, buying a lot of time. She is actually still alive. Does finally go down. Blast right now has to get themselves out to safety. Flashing over the wall. Should be able to stay alive for just a little bit longer. Gentleman Joby not trying to fight back as well. Has the ultimate. Not available, actually, I should say. Will not be able to use that. Oh, very low though in the Death Realm. He's going to be taken down. Shadell soon to follow as well. And this is just all going in favor of Glacial Nebula. Bruisers are just too strong. There's the Death Realm. Maxwell going to get hit by that mace. He's taken down. Yasuka now charging forward as well. Unleashed Power will not do enough to him to take him down. Just going to force Heater out of this one. Gets hit by another orb, but he's going to be just fine. Should be able to use the last one over the wall. Actually, just going to grab her in, and there is the kill. Red team has picked up the dragon. That's the third dragon of the game for Glacial Nebula, and they pick up Heater. That's the ace, delayed ace for them. Glacial Nebula just running over the map.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Aurelia, Gentleman Joby. It ended up being a little bit of a tough laning phase, but he is huge. And, you know, there were some fights that I kind of maybe criticized him for not joining, but if he's going to farm up and have this kind of impact late game, I'm all for it. Take those turret plates. Go ahead and farm those minions and let your team die a little bit in the side lanes. 11, 5, and 7 completed a Bork, a Wit's End, and working on something that builds out a Phage. This game is in control. Glacial Nebula taking fights where it makes sense. Really, really looking good. And, you know, at this elo, and we're looking kind of low plat, mid plat, picking comfort picks is huge. Like, you really want to take people off their comfort picks. And Yasuke on this Mordekaiser, I think, is doing just a ton of work.
Gentleman Joby tested. I hate to cut you off, but we might be seeing an attempt at a 1v4 in the bot lane. Not going to work out. Wasn't able to really combo the abilities like he wanted to. And RGM sends the whole squad to take out this Irelia. They finally do so, but they're losing the top lane tower as well. We haven't really mentioned it, but that's Baron. Has been on the side of Glacial Nebula, actually about to expire. So they've had that for the last couple of minutes, able to get themselves some pushing lanes. And they're also almost 10,000 gold ahead, Merlin. Glacial Nebula, they did lose their Gentleman Joby on Irelia there, but I don't really think they seem very bothered by it.
No, they're huge at this point, and I think Gentleman Joby has a good number of deaths in the 3 matches that we've seen so far. So he does, you know, it's one of those things that's easy to do. You feel big, you overextend, you don't have wards. If you're going to play the style that he plays, I really wish he'd pick up blue ward. Right now, he still has yellow trinket. And at this stage of the game, 25 minutes, a blue trinket really can save your life from time to time. So I think if he's going to expose himself and put himself in side lanes, that might be a better choice. Also, Vigard, 2 needlessly large rods, and let me tell you, they are absolutely needed at this point. Once he finishes this death cap, he should have about 800, 900 AP and will just, you know, every W will be just huge damage. He's got incredible scaling and incredible cooldown on that as his cooldown scales with the number of phenomenal evil power stacks he has. Currently sitting at 206. I cannot wait for him to multiply that all with a death cap and absolutely go to town.
Yeah, he's going to need a little bit more gold before he's able to complete that item. Should need maybe 3 or 4 more waves should be able to get him there for that death cap. And that's going to be a lot of damage, like you were just saying. The damage can be kind of insane from Veigar, I should say, with the Ws coming through. That cooldown down to 2.89 seconds so far on the W, which is not very much. Feature, meanwhile, going to get engaged time, just take it out straight away. Gentleman Joby didn't even have to blink. Heater taken out. If you were blinking, you might have missed that kill because he went down so fast. Didn't even have time to press the Zanya button. Wouldn't have saved him, I don't think, but, you know, usually you do use that before you go down just to try to buy a little bit more time, and they actually put the Zeke's Harbinger onto Gentleman Joby, which makes a lot of sense. There's no way to carry this game. I don't know why I guess I'm surprised about that. Those make sense. In the top lane, Death Realm, Genji Ninja is in the Death Realm. I think he's going to be going down. One more maze on his face. Able to jump away, actually. Might not go down. Out of the Death Realm at this point. It's so hard to tell on the spectator clients. Maxwell, though, might be paying the price for trying to save his teammate. Another maze slamming down on the ground. Yasuka getting his workout in for the day as well. And the bot lane inhibitor tower has been broken by Gentleman Joby. They're just running through the map. Shadell and Devout have nothing they can do about this. The inhibitor goes down. The inhibitor died in the mid lane as well. Glacial Nebula just looking to cycle these inhibitors. They're pushing in the top lane as well. That tower is pretty low. I don't know if it will fall right now, but they can just regroup, maybe look toward the Baron, look toward the Dragon Soul. The world is their oyster at this point. Glacial Nebula just running over this map.
Yeah, the Aurelia went in, and I know it happened in a blink of an eye, but I was thankful I got to watch the whole thing. E on a nearly dead minion, Eing a second minion, landing the snare, and then he dodges the Syndra stun to get behind her with his last E. Everything just worked out perfectly. He wasn't even touched. He came out of that 100% HP. Super nice mechanical play. Gentleman Joby, bravo. We've got Baron up in 1, Dragon Soul up in 45 seconds, and I just don't think that this is going to be something you can fight right now. Quite frankly, there's not a single outer turret taken in this game for RGM. You're just in tough straits needing to clear 2 lanes of super minions while trying to compete for some of these objectives. The only real bright spot we've got is that they do have a Volibear who kind of in this mid game is pretty strong. It's possible that if he could go on Yasuke on Mordekaiser, eat the Death Realm, and not die, that they could take him out as an option to try and come back into the game. As it is, it looks like if Glacial Nebula have a 5-man Baron, it's going to be very difficult for RGM to come in on this. At this point, they've got Aatrox on wave clear duty, and it looks like they're going to take the 4v5. And, you know, sometimes you have to take the 4v5, the best of a bad situation. We'll see how it goes.
There's the Celeber coming in. They're going to try to make this a 5 versus 5. Gentleman Joby going in, taken very low, but he does have Guardian Angel, even if he does get taken out for the first time, but he picks up 2 kills already. One of them went over to Blastbro, who does have that Rabadon's completed already. The Baron is still at 2,000 HP. They do have to watch out for that. Still not going to come through. That's picked up by Glacial Nebula. A nice attempt in the backline by Heater, but Smaxwell very low. He's going to be taken out. You have to feel there. It is the W coming down. Alyuna going to be chasing onto Heater, making sure that he's not able to get any kind of a recall and maybe try to stop the end of the game. And you have to think this is going to be the end of the game. Yusuke has teleported in, is on the Nexus Towers. They are going down so quickly. The Baron buff empowered minions in the base as well. Super minions at the, I should say, super minions. Just stop after that, Carl. We're going on. Both Nexus Towers taken down. We're on to the Nexus. Glacial Nebula fighting back in this game. The series has been very back and forth. Both these teams looking like they're in it all the time. I'm excited for game number 4. The Glacial Nebula take game number 3 and go up 2-1.
Really nice game. You got to give it to Yasuke on that Mordekaiser and Aurelia in that mid lane. The solo lane's just doing so much work. A combined 21 and 8, 17. A good line for your solo lanes by any account. Also quiet, but sturdy and always doing what she needs to. Alyuna 3-0-12, 190 farm, up 17 on the Volibear, just quietly being where she needed to, getting the damage down and supporting her team with that Graves. Given that we've seen it 3 games, I fully expect to see a 4th game, and I think it's fine. I think she does great work on it. The Vigar, solid, 800 AP by the end of the game. It was kind of coming on late, so it didn't make a difference, but that kind of AP does a huge amount of damage to turrets. So the ability to push with him is also really, really strong. Just a nice game overall. As we look towards the next game, I think that Gentleman Joby is really hard to ban out. Like, he's shown a number of different champions with different styles and seems fairly proficient. I do think it makes sense to ban the Mordekaiser in the first half of the draft. If this was a switch up from the previous games where they did not wait to try and counterpick topside. They just went ahead and picked his main, and man, did he do a ton of work. So I think that is something that you want to be wary of. But this is not it by any stretch. We've got more games coming up, and RGM have a chance to show that they can mix it up and that they should maintain their position in their division, while the Glacial Nebula upstarts trying to raise that tier and get that promotion.
Trying to get themselves into Ionia, and we'll see what happens in game number 4, which is coming your way on the other side of a very short break. We will be back in just a few minutes with game number 4 between Royal Griffin Majesty and Glacial Nebula. Don't go away.
I must not fall.
Welcome back, everybody, to Champions Select for game number 4 here between Glacial, Nebula, and Royal Griffin Majesty in the promotion relegation game between Ionia and Piltover. Glacial Nebula. Nebula looking to win this game and promote into Ionia, while RGM is looking to force a game number 5 to defend their spot in that group for Season 4 of Style Esports, which starts next week, so be sure you check that out. I am Jarl Carl, alongside Merlin here for Merlin Mondays.
Hello, Carl. Thanks so much. This is game 4, guys. I'm ready. Glacial Nebula for the match point. Let's hope they can put something together. They've shown 2 really strong comps. Last match was a little bit of a switch up with the top laner taking Mordekaiser, which I really liked since that was his main, and Mordekaiser can be really impressive. We've got some smart picks and bans as a result of the history from the previous matches. The Yasuo took over in game 1, so he has been a permaban since then for the side of Glacial Nebula, and on the flip side, the Volibear has proven just too strong in repeated matches. So we see that ban Yasuke on the Mordekaiser. Looks like a strong pick, just kind of opened. And we have some different picks. This was pro drafted, so you don't see it all. But the Graves that Aliana has played for 3 matches in a row was banned this match. So he went to number 2, which is Vi. And then we have a very strange mid lane. I don't even know what to think, Carl. It looks like, unless I'm mistaken, Soraka on Gentleman Joby against
Gentleman Joby.
Victor.
Yeah, very spicy. He went from Irelia to Soraka. I don't really know what to think either. I would just like to say I was right. I was calling it to be Soraka mid. And actually, I think I said it was going to be Mordekaiser mid. But you have to keep the Lulu in the bot lane. Spoilers, there's a Lulu sport. I don't know what's happening. I'm just gonna do a quick pivot and say I like Genji Ninja's Olaf a lot. I think Olaf is really strong. This was last pick, one of my favorite junglers to see in competitive. It has a lot of dragon control. It'll do great against the Vi in the jungle. Ragnarok just completely shrugs off the Assault and Battery ultimate from Aliuna. So I think this Olaf pick is very strong. Overall, I think the team comp from Royal Griffin Majesty is extraordinarily strong. If Blast Pro and Adruina cannot get ahead in the bot lane, I think they're going to have a lot of trouble doing damage late game with this Soraka. I think a lot of the eggs are really in the Twitch basket with kind of a side of Yasuka.
I just don't understand why Joby's on Soraka. So you put him on carry champs every single game, and last game he you can argue that he pretty hard carried that game. And now you've got him on like a weird pokey sustain, but no one scales harder than Victor. Victor is a monster scaler. And we've got some switches late, but which I assume is not a lane switch, but more a role switch. It looks like they might be putting Heacher has an Olaf in his pocket, and Genji Ninja might be going mid with the Victor. But really, I don't understand why you put Joby on a support in that spot. And the team comp doesn't even lend itself really to like long extended fights where Soraka can do a lot. Like Vi's ult is going to pull her so far away from the Soraka that she's not going to be able to heal her. And Mordekaiser goes in Death Realm and can't do anything to help him there. And Twitch is going to be running away with Lulu a lot of the time. So, I'm just not a big fan of the Glacial Nebula comp at this point. You can prove it to me. Maybe it'll work. But I thought Soraka was nerfed in the solo lanes, that she wasn't able to really, dominate, or maybe not dominate, maybe just like sustain and be relevant in the solo lanes the way she had earlier in the season. So I'm deeply confused. Like you, I really like the Olaf. I really like the Victor. I think the bot lane as Zyra should be fine. But quite frankly, if I'm Olaf, I'm just going to go hunt the Vi. I think that Olaf in the level 3 is just so strong, level 3, 4. He should be able to pick up crabs, and so long as he's aggressive and just prevents Aliuna from having that free farm, get Vi to 6, and then try and impact the game, I think Olaf should have a field day. I mean, really, he's got mid, top, and in the jungle. There's like a lot of lanes he can impact probably pretty positively. Victor and Aatrox don't have a lot of CC to kind of help an Olaf, but I still feel like he is the early game champ and can probably make a lot happen. And we saw Genji Ninja do that before. Game 1, his Hecarim really was all over the map, making things happen. And I think we might see more of that this game.
I think that's pretty likely. Olaf doesn't always even need a lot of CC, especially if you're ganking a Soraka. who I don't think is going to have a lot of success trying to get away from an Olaf, especially post 6. Sure, she might have Wish, but Wish is only going to heal you up, 200 HP. Whereas Olaf's just going to run at you. You can't slow him down with the Q. You can't slow him down with the silence. I mean, you can stop him from casting an ability for a second, but he's just going to run over it and then keep throwing axes in your face. So I think Heater, I guess, on Olaf, a bit of a role swap here, is going to just do very well up against Gentleman Joby, up against Aliuna in the jungle. Basically, any lane that he's ganking, he should find a lot of success in, especially if he's able to get ahead. Being able to run down Blast Pro might have a little bit of trouble against all the shielding from Adrena and the Wish from Gentleman Joby if he's ganking post 6 in the bot lane. But topside, jungle, and the mid lane, I think he'll have a ton of success. The ultimate will stop him from going on the death realm if Yasuka tries to use that on him overall. So I think Heater on Olaf is just going to have a field day. Like I keep saying, I think he'll have great jungle control as well over the dragons, over the Herald. I think Aliuna could find himself in a lot of trouble in this game, just able to not able to have any impact just because Heater should just be out pressuring him. So I think the jungle matchup is a very key part of this game, as well as this bot lane matchup. I think if Blast Pro and Adrena can get ahead, they do have hope in this game, but if they can't, I think they'll have a lot of trouble with damage later on in the game. So we'll see how it does transpire once we get loaded into the game. We're going to take a break. While we do, don't touch that browser. Style Esports returns in just a few. Welcome to the Rift for game number 4 between Glacial Nebula and Royal Griffin Majesty. This is a best of 5. It's 2-1 in favor of Glacial Nebula. This could be the last game of this series. If Glacial Nebula wins, they will promote into Ionia for Season 4 of Style Esports. We might have another invade coming out from RGM with this Olaf. They are very strong, so I'm going to keep it short. I'm Yellow Carl alongside Merlin here. Merlin Mondays.
Welcome back, guys. We've got a game 4, and we have a very unusual comp. With a Soraka mid. I don't think I've seen one of these in my 200 games of rank yet this season. And we will see what Joby's able to do on it. I would say just from the look of things, I'm liking the RGM comp so far. We'll see how it ends up playing out, but I think that their mid laner, obviously the Victor should have priority over the Soraka, who is running barrier, doesn't have a combat summoner. Also lacks TP, which you traditionally sometimes take on a weak laner. Victor does have TP, but he can use that to kind of keep the pressure up. Both junglers are starting bot side, so we should see some fireworks top side, although Vi is not a full clearer. Olaf is, so I would expect Olaf to clear his entire bot side and then move to the top and see what the lanes are looking like before deciding what to do from there, whereas Vi, I would expect to go red wolves or even red blue gromp if she wants to absolutely get a gank out on the map as soon as possible. Of the Glacial Nebula side, the lane that I like the most, that I want to see focus put on, is going to be that top side. Clearly, Yasuke on that Mordekaiser is very comfortable and can get a lot done on that lane. So I think that if you're going to spend ganks, you should try and spend them there whenever possible. On the bot side, we actually have real ADCs this game, which has been a little bit unusual. We've got Zyra, a monster pusher, and they do have priority in the bot lane. I expect them to have priority for much of the laning phase. And hopefully they can lay down some poke, make some things happen. And right now it looks like Vi's working on blue while Olaf goes to his 4th camp. Olaf does get low in the jungle to fully utilize his attack speed buffs from his passive, but when he gets to his last camp, he smites and heals and generally gets back out on the map at reasonably close to full health. Looks like Vi did 4 camps as well, and she should look on the map, and that Aatrox is extended. That's probably the first gank target, although Aatrox does have a ward down in the brush, so it should be spotted out. Olaf finishing his 6th camp right now, which will take him to level 4. And
should be on the top side. Yeah, at about 3 minutes and 12 to 17 seconds is what my my jungler that I coached once told me on Olaf. He was like doing speed runs in the jungle, and there it is, about 3:13. He's done with his last camp, walking to the tribush around 3:17, as predicted here. My shout outs to Isaac, genius jungler out there, big brain player. Moving on to the Scuttle Crab. You were saying Olaf likes to do a full clear. He is doing a very full clear. He's cleared all of his camps and the Herald, not the Herald, the Scuttle. It's a little Herald. They're basically the same thing. As Vi is trading that back on the bot side. So no fireworks up in the top lane. I think Aliona just doesn't want to really meet Teacher at this point. Happy to just trade Scuttle Crabs and kind of continue farming up at least for level 6, where maybe he could have some impact on the map that isn't in the same place as Teacher is. Just because any 2v2 that contains Olaf and Vi, I think Olaf is going to win every time, is very strong. And Yasuke has a push up in the top lane as well. So not a great gank target. Aliona decides to just keep clearing his camps and just kind of wait out the rest of the laning phase.
So I really want Olaf to do something. He's level 4. This is one of his big power points. And top was pushed all the way in. And mid looks good too.
Teleport coming in though. Genji Ninja might have to back himself away, but gonna be a stun from Yasuke, or from Genji Ninja as well. Heater might just look for this fight. Actually trying to just back himself away. Might have to flash, getting creep blocked quite a bit. Smaxwell has arrived as well. Both top laners are here, but Smaxwell might just be taken out. Yasuke flashing under the tower, not gonna be enough. That's gonna be first blood, I think, over to Olaf. Yes, it is. It's disaster. RGM picking up first blood. Heater picking up that kill.
Yeah, that was super greedy, flashing forward with a Q to attempt to kill. I don't know what he's thinking there. His wave isn't even in position. So one of the things you want to consider when you TP to a gank like that is if the wave is pushing to you or against you. There are benefits and drawbacks towards it. I guess that top wave is pushing towards Mordekaiser, so maybe his TP wasn't so bad. But you don't want to lose entire waves. But the gank setup was okay. I feel like Olaf needed to go earlier. There were definitely windows, but Vi was kind of there for the counter gank. I think that was just a greed play that didn't end up working out. And you've got to be a little bit careful on that Mordekaiser. Olaf with that early kill should be fantastic for him. And right now we see Victor burning his TP to get back to lane after getting Soraka's flash. So now you've got an immobile mid laner, Soraka, against a Victor. They both will have items, but Victor's going to have the shove. He's not actually shoving, which I think is a mistake. He's got the opportunity to deny a few CS, XP gold. He should absolutely take that. He does not look like he had enough gold for his Hextech core, which is a big deal. That's definitely a big buff for him when he picks up his first core item, and it definitely sets him back. So at least the fight did that for him. And it looks like we've got some action bot lane. Vi going in on the Olaf.
Do meet the bot lane. Not sure this is the fight he wants. Does have his team actually not with him. There's the Wish comes down. He's level 6 in the mid lane on that gentleman. Joby trying to keep his team alive, but Teacher is going to pick up Triumph. He is going to go down. I think Glassbro does pick up that kill, but the Victor Cast Storm doing so much damage. Edgerina trying to get herself away from this. A nice double root from Gentleman Joby on the snare to keep his team a little bit topped off, but had to use a lot for that play, and it turns out just to be a 1-for-1.
Yeah, it actually, I really feel like 1-for-0, right?
Both junglers died. Elio
yeah.
and then Heater was traded back. Yeah.
Right. You're right. Yeah, I feel like going in on a Olaf who's got a level on you was just a mistake, but for some reason, and I think there were a number of skill shots missed, unfortunately, they just were not able to get that kill fast enough, and Olaf took a lot of heat afterwards. As it is, they should be looking for this Drake. It looks like Olaf is going to take Scuttle. They're going to give Victor a chance to pick up his wave mid, but bot lane has, I think, priority forever that as Zyra, and they should definitely look to pick up this this Drake as soon as possible.
I think the next few minutes are so crucial for Heater. There's no flash in the mid lane on Gentleman Joby. There's no flashes in the bot lane. The dragon is up. I really am looking for Heater to get something done on this Olaf. Maybe get a dragon and go for a gank before those flashes are back up to really continue snowballing this early game, because that's what Olaf wants to do, is snowball the game and get ahead. You know, he's up a little bit of farm. He's up in gold over Eluna on the Vi, and he really needs to make something happen. Once he's level 6, he has Ragnarok available. Basically, any lane is gankable by this Olaf, and I really need him to start going for some plays across the map. Pings toward the dragon is a good sign for that, but this objective control needs to start rolling through with this Olaf.
Yeah, I mean, Victor was recalling and then he canceled it. He does not have any of his extra core upgrades. None of his spells are empowered. This is just not a super favorable spot. I really wish he'd just gone and soloed it out. Like, Vi's on the top side.
He still can, but he just needs to start doing it. There's no vision. I think it's totally free if he starts it up.
Yep, he's got the pink ward. He put it down, and it looks like they're going to rotate bot side so that they can take it more rapidly. So he is getting some work done, but it does come at a cost. It looks like Vi's getting some deep wards, taking Raptors in exchange. And all the while, Mordekaiser's slowly getting stronger and stronger. He's got a Bramble Vest and a 20 CS lead over the Aatrox, despite his one death. So, you know, I still think this is kind of anyone's match. We've got an exact tie, 12.7k for both teams. And the Soraka mid, which had a little, you know, I wasn't really sure about, is holding even. Got an 8 CS lead on the Victor, who's not super strong early, but I still would expect him to maintain presence against the Soraka. She does have 3 Fairy Charms. I'm not up on Soraka builds, but that's probably super OP, at least for the mana regen.
And a blue buff, so she's going to have a ton of mana in the mid lane. Very annoying for Genja Ninja to fight against, and very easy CSing as well. Heater might be in a little bit of trouble. This is a 2 versus 2. You have to think the Olaf would win this, but they decide to back themselves away from that. Blast Pro is down to half HP in the bot lane as well, so having some trouble against this Ezreal Zyra. Ezreal a little bit low on mana. He needs to recall. He needs to get his tier stacking. Does have enough money for the mana immune straight out of the gate, so I think that's what he'll be going for, probably off of this creep. I would look for them to go for a reset and buy that mana item, get scaling. Up for Shadel. You just need to recall here. Go back, get your mana item. You're not scaling right now on the Ezreal. They're looking to stay around to keep the pressure up. This strategy does work also to try to deny a little bit. They're not denying anything. You can't really threaten and engage when you don't have any mana on Ezreal. He needs to go back and get that tier item as soon as possible.
No, I totally agree. This is like a huge, I think a pretty big mistake. Like, you're just not going to get online as fast without that tier item. I mean, there's no kill pressure because you don't have any mana. You're actually vulnerable because you know, you can still be ganked. It looks like they're still sticking around a little bit. I think Vi could go in here. She's level 6. If they can stop the back, which they did, oh, she's in. Here we go.
Last Pro is pretty low, but there is the Stranglethorn is coming down, but Devout very low. We still have Assault and Battery available. There they go. In onto Shadel. Has enough mana for the Arcane Shift, but Eluna still chasing. Forces the flash as well. That's 3 Summoners burn and a kill going over to the Twitch. A huge misplay by the RGM bot lane. You have to recall.
I don't know what you would stay for. I mean, once you get the gold, that's your back timer. That's getting the ball rolling. Not backing there, I think, is just a huge mistake. It's really interesting to see Soraka get all aggressive like this.
Gentleman Joby doesn't take damage, apparently, in the mid lane. Landing those Qs, gets the health regeneration. Shadel is still in the bot lane. Has 90 CS. If we flip back over to the gold, that's 3,000 gold in his pocket. You know, I understand staying to 2,400. That's the amount of gold you need for the mana immune. It's pretty cheap. You only have to do 1 recall, then you don't have to back for the tier, and then the completion of the item. That makes a lot of sense. You start scaling quickly with it stacking on auto attacks. The mana immune is a very strong, very cheap item. Makes a lot of sense to go for it on the first recall. But staying past that is just hurting yourself. You're not scaling, and you're not able to get any damage out. You don't have any damage because you don't have any items, and you can't scale. So you just need to recall once you have the 2,400, and that's really what they needed to do. They would have cost them. They would have not died to the gank, I should say, and he finally goes back to get it, but he's just way behind the curve on scaling now.
Absolutely. I don't know who, you know, professional ADCs will often go back for a part of a single item, like the edge gotten just from an extra longsword or full boots, like some of those, they're perfectly happy to go back with 700 or 800. It is absurd not to take your power spike. You talk about how you can get scaling and everything, but don't even forget about like the lane pressure. Like you've actually, once you restock on mana and have a mana immune, you're actually able to potentially get some kills in that bot lane. But you're just a wet noodle farming, and it's not like pushing under turret was getting you a CS lead. It's not like Twitch was struggling to CS under turret. He's mechanically quite strong. Fingerblast Pro actually has a CS lead. We've got some action topside.
Yeah, Yasuka in the Death Realm. Smaxwell beaten on. This is, everybody's taking damage. It's not quite clear who is winning, but he finally comes out of the Death Realm. Now Smaxwell just walks himself away. Heater can run down. Yasuka a flash. I don't think it's going to be enough. There's one more undertow. Oh, Smaxwell burning the flash. Not sure he had to do that, buddy. Your jungler had it, but he really wanted that kill. Secured in the top lane. Yasuka goes down.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, Olaf does fall off, and quite frankly, it's too late in the game. He's already falling off. If you don't get like 3-4 kills early on Olaf or secure a bunch of Drakes, it's not that he's going to be irrelevant, but it is difficult to play him super well and super strong when you don't get anything done early. As it is, it looks like we've got some prepping for Drake. We've got 30 seconds before the Drake spawns, and they're looking to invade the blue buff. Olaf knows they're there, though, so this does not necessarily have to be free. I would love for Twitch to stealth and get in here on this fight.
Aliena has to get himself away. A nice flash and try to interrupt that Q. Aliena taking so much damage, but there's so much healing. The Wish come through as well. There's the Assault Battery into the backline, onto the Ezreal. Blast Pro has picked up one kill now on a killing spree. Second kill coming down as well. The whole bot lane has been taken out. Heater goes over the wall, but he doesn't have Ragnarok. What is he doing? He just gets killed. There's the pick up on that by Gentleman Joby. That's another kill going over. Glacial Nebula just running the fight. A triple kill for the Twitch. What a great play, and they're going to get the Dragon as well.
No, that Twitch just went to town in that fight. Spray and pray going all across the entire team while he has Bork, completed first item. And that is not nearly as strong as he's going to get. He just picked up so many kills. And we have not seen Fingerblast Pro on an early champion. And let's be honest, Twitch has great late game scaling as well. But he has been in this matchup on a bunch of late game scalers. And we haven't really seen him with a lane lead. But this should be interesting as he got massively fed in that fight, and he's got 2K in his pocket ready to spend. That is going to be a huge boost. I will say that he's staying. I really want him to recall and put that money to use, because I think if he just recalls and Ez has to push past the midpoint, he can just stealth in and kill him. I'm not even sure Zyra can do a whole lot to protect the Ez. She's more of an additional damage dealer than anyone who can peel, shield, or heal. So, Twitch got 5 of the team's 6 kills and is looking really, really strong. On the counter side, it's only a 1K gold lead, and RGM have done a good job of keeping the Mordekaiser in check, and in fact, they're looking for first turret mid.
Aliena goes in to try to go for a little bit of poke and gets one shot by Genji Ninja and Heater. So that was a little bit of an oopsie on that. The tower does get broken by that Herald as well. So first tower going over to RGM. They are trying to fight back in this game. The gold is dead even once again. So this game is not, as over as it kind of sounded like we were going on about with the Twitch. But I mentioned in champs, like, this Twitch is the real way they're going to win this game, and he has 5 kills. So this is exactly the game plan that Glacial Nebula wanted. We'll see if the comp is really worth picking here, as it's gone exactly as they want so far in this game. So if they're not able to execute, if they're not able to win the game with this, maybe you put Gentleman Joby on something a little bit more playmaking than this Soraka in the mid lane. It's worked out so far. He's doing well. We saw him bullying Genji Ninja earlier. Has his Athenes completed, doing great for himself so far. We'll see how this can transition into the mid lane. I think they need to start getting some kills. We might see that actually now in the bot lane. Last one going in, Honest JDL, spray and pray. Oh, there's the miss on the root. Stranglethorns has to be expended. Teleport coming down as well. Blast Pro actually might just die to these plants. Wild Growth is popped on him. True Shot Rush as well. Wish, that's a whole lot of health. Blast Pro might be okay. Gets hit by one undertow. Actually is going to go down. That's the shutdown going over in favor of Genji Ninja on the victor here in the mid lane. The fight is going to continue, but it's not going to go in the favor of Glacial Nebula. Their bot lane has been taken out by Genji Ninja. What a great teleport. Double kill for this victory.
Nicely played by RGM. So I don't mind that the Twitch went in, but at some point, once you've missed enough skills, you've got to back out. The plants were just really hammering him. The counter gank came in and really kind of took him apart. Nicely played by the RGM squad. The Soraka has done really well in lane, got a little bit of CS lead, 1-0-4. But I want to see her transition that. She's kind of a team fighter, and she needs to make sure that she can, you know, have some utility. Here we go for a mid gank.
Gank on to Genji Ninja, gets rooted up by the silence. The Q's coming through. A lot of Starfall from Gentleman Joby. Healing coming through Astral Infusion. Genji Ninja gonna walk away though. Heater, there's the Ragnarok. Blast Pro has arrived on the scene. However, this is a 2 versus 3. The healing is a little bit too much. Aliuna picks up the shutdown onto Olaf.
Nicely done, nicely done. That's Aliana's first kill. She was 0-3-6 behind that fight. And I remember, we've seen 3 games on her on the Graves, and he has not had a particularly good game with the Vi. Vi is a very different champ. Squishier, not as tanky. Obviously, depending on build, but with a warrior, you're not going to last long as a frontliner. Also, there's a bunch of different summoners you can take. He's got an aggressive one in Press the Attack in Hail of Blades. Which is kind of a damage build. You can go Aftershock for kind of tankiness after engage. So if you don't think you're going to be a primary carry, I think I actually probably prefer the Aftershock. But I think RGM picking on the jungler for Glacial Nebula is not a bad strategy. I think they got to try and keep pushing their edges where they can. Victor, 203, 140 farm. He is getting quite strong, looking for a second item Zonia's. Drake's popping up in 50 seconds. I think both teams with 1 Drake apiece are going to be looking to fight for these. But it's an interesting game so far. I'm liking Gentleman Joby's Soraka. It's proven pretty effective. And it's really going to, I think, come down to team fight execution. The Victor, the Ez's safety. Can Zyra get some damage down? Can Twitch stay safe? And I think we're going to find out relatively soon as people start grouping around this bot side.
Teleport will be up for Maxwell a little bit before Yasuga. I think they're very close. They should both be up for the Dragon. Also, this is really just the Genji Ninja versus Blast Pro. Who can do more damage? Who can keep themselves alive in these fights? I think that is really what this is all going to come down to as we are posturing around the Dragon. Maxwell has recalled. Yasuga has not. So the buy has come through for the Aatrox, but not for the Mordekaiser. There's 2,000 in his pocket. He needs to recall now, I think, if he wants to be joining this fight at his full power spike. Might be able to even complete an item depending on which one he is going for. So I would like to see that coming through in the next couple of seconds. A great ward behind as well. I think Glacial Nebula are set up to win this fight if they can get the buy-in and get a nice teleport there. Royal Griffin Majesty going to back themselves off. Also 2 items completed for Gentleman Joby. He has the redemption as well. A little bit of a safer teleport does come through as we look toward the Dragon.
All right, it looks like we're just going to start the Dragon. There are a bunch of different options here. When everybody's posturing around Dragon, you could actually have taken bot turret. Bot turret would have been free. Just send Twitch down. The opposing team cannot take Dragon before you can take that bot turret, but we are probably going to see a fight.
There's the world under. They're going straight into this one. Ragnarok has been popped as well. Blast Pro can't keep himself safe. Spray and pray has been popped, just ripping through this off. He has been taken down. 1 dead for each side. Both junglers have been taken off of the map. This could get more interesting. There's the Pava. Blast Pro gets 1 shot though after picking up the kill onto the Zyra. That's just the support. Yasuga tries to pick up the kill onto Maxwell, is able to do so. Shadal gets taken out. It's just Genji Ninja left for RGM. Can he carry his team through this fight? It's a Soraka, a Lulu, and a Mordekaiser. This is not the comp you want to see in this one. Can they take it? It's 3 versus 1. And they still decide to back themselves away, Merlin. Glacial Nebula not confident enough to start this Dragon off.
I don't like it. I mean, Mordekaiser and Lulu should be enough to be able to get that done. And if you're not going to take the Drake, send 3 bot side, push that turret, take that turret. You need objectives. You can't just win a fight by 2 kills and not take anything afterwards. That's not how you win games. I will say, Victor, nice positioning. I felt like he stayed in the back line and continued to dish down the damage. I don't know if you caught it, but Twitch went super deep. He was hovering around blue buff and ended up getting blown up by the Victor. I don't know if he was trying to flank or one-shot, but that was not good positioning. And he's a huge amount of damage on the team. AoE damage as well with his spray and pray. So he's got to make sure that he stays alive. And it looks like we're going to do this dance again, although Glacial Nebula is really poorly positioned. Despite their 1k lead and the win in the team fight last match, it looks like they're going to give the Drake for free. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, you don't need to fight over this Dragon, right? You know, it is 1-to-1 in those, so you don't need the Dragon per se, but I think it's another good chance to take another fight. All your ultimates are almost back available. I guess without Assault and Battery and without the Death Realm, they just didn't feel confident enough to fight. I don't hate the decision. I don't love it either, though. I think this Twitch is really strong at this point. Shadal could just find himself in a world of trouble. Right away, we have 2 items now completed. The Runems was not up in that last fight. Could have made a lot of difference. And an additional crit cloak as well. So that's 70% crit. Actually, tell a lie. 45% crit on Blast Pro here. As Asuka could be in a bit of trouble at the top lane. 3 members coming up to try to stop him. He can take one of them to the Death Realm in just a couple of seconds as well. Aliuna is in the area. There is the Death Realm onto Maxwell. I think they're just going to try to disengage with that, get himself as close to the tower as he possibly can, pulls him in, a bit of damage, and I think they're all going to just back away in the 3 versus 2. Yep, good disengage, has to use the ultimate, but everybody stays safe.
Yep, in the meantime, Soraka gets the push with
Shadell
Victor.
has to flash away in the bot lane. There's the ultimate coming through. True Shot Barrage. Wish has to be used to keep Blast Pro alive. I think you just need to use the ultimate there and just go for the kill onto Shadell. He's so low. A couple of more autos could have been enough. He's taking too much damage from these plants. You either need to fight or you need to just run, and he kind of couldn't decide between the two. Gets the flash out of Devout, but has to use a lot of ultimates to keep him alive.
Yeah. I wish Soraka had tried and get more damage on that mid turret. That mid turret being up is still pretty painful for the team. It looks like they're rotating 3 bot, but did she really come down just to heal once while a wave of minions is dying at her turret?
Apparently.
I think there's better macro out there. It's possible to, you know, play that a little better. But she did get back just in time to watch the last one die, and maybe she'll catch some of the next wave. I mean, I even think you could dive this bot lane. Zyra is super, super squishy. And if you trade 1 for 1, you will almost certainly pick up the turret.
There's the spray and pray, just going straight into Devout, just eviscerated off the map. The damage is so high. Shadell, you don't want to walk back into that. You got to wait for that. And that's the damage that this Twitch really has. They're going to be able to push into this tower. You don't even need to dive it. You just need to press R and shoot him.
Right. I think we just had to wait too long for that. And quite frankly, Lulu with the speed up, you know, it should not be hard to send an invis Twitch into a position where he can kind of one-shot with his ult. Spray and pray on a 90-second cooldown. I mean, he's going to reset and have it almost up by the time he gets back to lane. I feel like the game is progressing the way Glacial Nebula want it to. I know that they haven't had, you know, total success. They haven't really got their top laner ahead the way they wanted. But the Soraka really changes the shape of late game. It really keeps everybody alive that much longer with the heals. And if you don't have somebody who can kill the Soraka right away, it is a struggle and a slog to get through the extended HPs of the rest of the team. At this point, there's no assassin. Olaf is not going to get on it. And here we go, Twitch trying to take out this Ez.
There is an assassin. It's called Twitch. In this game, almost died to Shadell. That joke would have made a little bit more sense if he'd picked up the kill, but decided not to go for Shadell. I'm a little surprised. I think you just win that every time.
He needed 15 seconds for his ult. I think with the ult it's easy, and without it he's just shy or trying to lay down.
Yeah, I mean, all you do is get range and a little bit of AD from the ultimate. So I think you could have picked up the kill, but anyway, it's just academic at this point. They do decide to back themselves off. You do want to make sure you are still alive for that dragon. Don't want to be giving up a kill there, so better safe than sorry. You do have to feel. All the summoners are available except for the flash on Yasuka for this fight and Devout's flash. So 2 summoners are going to be down for this dragon fight coming up in 1:35. I think that's really where we're going to see these teams really clash heads once again. I think this will be a full 5-man team fight. Maybe we'll decide the game.
It might. It looks like there's good priority for bot and mid, and it looks like Mordekaiser and Aatrox both have TP. Mordekaiser jamming the wave in, and we should see some sparks fly. I really like that Twitch is kind of pushing past the halfway point. If you can get your wave pushed so that your opponent has to kind of catch a wave and can't quite be at Drake or where he needs to be early, that is definitely a good solid advantage. They probably could even start handing off red buff to Twitch. He does us a ton of damage, and it looks like he's going after the Victor.
Just stealthing around. Something you do on Twitch in the mid game a lot. That stealth cooldown becomes a little bit lower. Adriana actually taking a lot of damage too. Genji Ninja has to get herself away. Gonna get stunned up. I think she's gonna be okay. Yeah, she is. But yeah, the camouflage is a little bit lower cooldown on Twitch in the middle game, and you kind of can just run around and try to find picks. It's pretty safe to do as long as you get yourself out in time. So do like to see that from him. It definitely has a little bit of experience on this champion at least. Another BF sword has been picked up as well, working toward Infinity Edge. So a very strong Rat, at this point in the game, dragging up in 20 seconds. Doesn't have enough time to go back for the Infinity Edge, but he does have gold for it if he did get himself back to base. But I don't think they're going to do it. Don't face check that bush. Teacher's waiting, and he would love to see a Rat walk in. Vikings and Rats. I think we all know what would happen in that matchup, at least to this point in the game, as everybody is just chilling.
I really wish Victor had one-shot the Lulu. He definitely has enough damage, and he's got a 4-level lead, and he just got a little poke down. Oh, this is a very strange
We are going to see the fight going into this one in the death room. Yasuka trying to pick up the kill on Genji Ninja. Everybody looking to disengage. Blast Pro, a nice flash to get himself away from the E of Aatrox, who stands no chance after that. That's 1 kill picked up. A lot of summoners blown as well. Very low on the side of RGM. This is complete control for Glacial Nebula. They only won the fight 1 kill to 0, but they have total control of the map right now. Everyone's forced to recall from RGM. Just a very odd fight.
Yeah, Vi went in, and I feel like she was alone. Like, Twitch wasn't really with her, and she's squishy, and I don't know why they just didn't blow her up in the bush right there where she stood. Mordekaiser was kind of pushing through mid and took someone to the death room. I didn't quite catch it. But it was like they just like ran, and I don't know if it was just an ill-conceived response to the team fight or what exactly happened, but I think we can call that pretty free on the part of Glacial Nebula. Like, they just pushed in, took the Drake, got 1 kill, got back out, continued to farm. And RGM's going to need to show something a little bit different if they're going to turn this game around. At this point, it's just a 3K gold lead for Glacial Nebula, but look at the scaling with the Soraka, Twitch, Mordekaiser versus the Victor, and I think you're looking at better scaling on the Glacial Nebula. It's really kind of starting to come online. Aatrox, 150 farm. He's 50 farm down at this point. Only 1 kill, 3 deaths. He's just not going to do a whole lot in team fights at this point. He doesn't have any relative strength compared to the rest of the map. So I think it's just looking like a struggle. Olaf falls off hugely. He's only 3 and 4. At this point, you really need a big showing from the Victor and the Ez in order to turn a fight into a win. And really, they're not going to be able to get on the Soraka. They're going to kill everybody almost twice by the time a team fight's done. I'd say it's looking a little bit grim, even though a lot of the outers are up and it's still early in the game.
Genji Ninja, you said he had to pop on the team fights. He's not going to be in the team fights. Merlin is going to be taken down right away, picking up the kill. Adriana is doing that. Gentleman Joby could be in a lot of trouble. There's a wish to throw themselves a lot more HP. Maxwell going to follow as well. Glacial Nebula, they excel at getting picks. They have this camouflage Twitch. They are doing so well for themselves in the last couple of minutes. Gentleman Joby healing up with the red buff as well. Level 15 on the Soraka, level 14 for the Twitch in the mid lane. This game has, already 30 minutes long, and Glacial Nebula is scaling really coming online. Infinity Edge picked up for Blastro. I wanted to mention that. Didn't get a chance to before we saw it in action. That just increases his damage by a ton. Infinity Edge is a really strong item for AD carries. They're going to be moving on to the Baron. They actually have an actual AD carry this game. They're going to take this down really quickly. Glacial Nebula just run it over them.
Right, they need to position aggressively. Like, they took that fight and it was easy. It wasn't even close. And I will say the setup was pretty good. Soraka got a silence onto the Victor, like right as Twitch came out of stealth. And so for that 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, he was unable to do anything. And he took like 90% of his damage in that window and then zoned you the moment he came out to try and buy himself some extra time. But yeah, it was just like the timing was just well executed, and we talked about scaling, and then here we are. And instead of outers, we got 3 missing turrets and another 3 kills, and a 2K gold lead is now 8. So yeah, rapidly kind of spiraling out of control for RGM at this point, and that is a concern when you draft kind of early game comps like the Olaf, and then don't get a lot done on it. We've got Drake in 147, so there's no real objectives to take on the map. This is actually an opportunity to come back. Right now, Olaf could rotate in on that Soraka and possibly get something done, but this is the classic time where there's no objectives and people want to fight over nothing. They do have the Baron buff, but if RGM can look for a pick, see somebody exposed in a side lane, that's really their hope. And as it is, it looks like we're going to see a big 4-man siege mid lane, which is the right way, I think, to take advantage of the Baron buff. Victor is on wave clearing duty bot side, so they're just pushing it.
Oh my god, the damage coming through. That's a double kill straight away for Blastro. That was 3 auto attacks and the expunge coming through. Blastro just ripping through the team. That damage, Merlin, was insane. That's like
crazy.
That's an Ezreal with a gauntlet too. Like, he has armor. He's got a lot of armor. That was like 3 auto attacks. Blastro is just going insane in this game. Genji gets engaged on as well. He's gonna go down almost assuredly. Zanya gonna buy him a little bit of time, but he does fall. Finds himself in the death chamber. Snackswell gonna go down as well. It's just Heater left. Has to flash himself away, and I don't think they're gonna be able to defend his base. This is a 5-man push into the base. The Baron buff on for another minute. They're gonna look for the end. You have to think here. Glacial Nebula is saying, we deserve to be in the Ionian group. Royal Griffin Majesty, you're going down to Piltover. It's time for you to be the sheriff in town. Alyona onto the turret. There is the second Nexus Tower gonna go down. It's just 2 men alive. It's about, and Heater trying to save the series. The Ezreal is alive as well. Can they cop the fight? 3 versus 5. It just doesn't look very likely. He's into that chamber now. Alyona desperately on towards the Nexus. They're gonna get it. Glacial Nebula win the series 3-1 and promote to the Ionia group for season 4. Congratulations to them. Very well played series 3-1 over Royal Griffin Majesty.
Congratulations, Glacial Nebula, as one of the teams in your division. I am glad to see you gone. That was an epic play. The comp was unusual, but man, did the Soraka do work mid. 3-0-14, not a single death. Farmed admirably and did what she needed to in the mid-late game, which is initiate with the silence, as well as keeping all of her teammates topped off so that the Olaf and Aatrox and Victor couldn't quite get the kills. Instead, they're just getting people low. Really nicely played, and the comp worked really well. Also want to recognize that Mordekaiser, you give someone his main, and he didn't get a lot of kills or assists, but I think the presence was good, and the fact that he drove all the way down to the inner turret while his outer is still up shows that he was executing well. Also, unspoken hero Lulu, 1-1-17, and I feel like her ults were timely, keeping people alive, and just I think a smart pick. That polymorph onto the Olaf when he's not running Ragnarok just really, really hurts him. So yeah, nice game, really well done. Congratulations, and I think a well-deserved promotion.
Yeah, absolutely, very well done here by Glacial Nebula. There was a little bit of that misstep in game number 1, but they did come back. They made sure the mentals were in check, made sure they weren't going to be in too much trouble for the series. They didn't give in to World Griffin Majesty. They are in a higher group, so the mentals very important for them, and so congratulations to them. Reverse sweep essentially without that second game, so not quite a reverse sweep, but they did win 3-1. We are going to get an interview here with, I think, Gentleman Joby is the consensus here on the casting desk. Shout out to Blast Pro for the last game, but I think Gentleman Joby really was popping off on all sorts of big things. And Soraka mid. I mean, you got to talk to the guy that plays Soraka mid, right? I mean, that's just some really spicy stuff. So actually, I'm supposed to be getting him in here for the interview, so I should be talking. 1 second. We're just going to be moving. I can't move him. We might have to do some interesting semantics here to get him in the call. So give me 1 second. And Merlin, what else you got to say about that game while I try to get Gentleman Joby in here?
So I just think it's tons of fun to play unconventional picks. Like, there's just this meta, and everybody plays the same thing, and you see the same thing in every games. But if you look at high-level streamers or coaches, there's a lot of people who will tell you that anything can work anywhere, and it's not about meta. If you understand wave management and minion control and the strength and weakness of your champion, any champ can really go into lots of different lanes. So I think it was really interesting. Like, Raka has fantastic wave clear, obviously a strength of hers. And Joby clearly knew what she could do, when she could do it, and what she kind of played to. And despite the fact that she didn't have any mobility, no gap closers, no jumps, she was able to kind of hold down the lane and keep the pressure on. Victor wasn't able to roam. Correct ward coverage kind of covered for her lack of mobility, and played a fantastic game, scaled into the mid-late game, and really helped win the game for sure.
I do agree. We are almost ready for this interview. We are going to move up to, this is mostly for the host's benefit, we're going to move up to interview team 1, that text channel, which we can find up higher in the Discord. So if we could all have a moment of silence right now while we all move up into interview team 1. Once we're all there, we'll be right back with that interview. So give us like 10 to 15 seconds. We're all going to move right now, and we'll see you in a sec. On a bit of a restroom break, so he will be back. Oh, and right as I say, the Discord sound makes noise, and Gentleman Joby enters the call. Welcome and congratulations on the win. How are you feeling, sir?
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty okay, especially after game 1 was a rough start, but coming back with a nice little 3-0 really quick. It was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys played a very good series. How was the, mental? I know a lot of teams sometimes, especially because you're in the promotion game, you're against a team from a higher group. The mentals can feel a little bit boomed after, game 1 where you kind of just don't win the game. You get kind of smacked down. What did you guys do to make sure the mentals were on point going into the next game, I should say?
Nothing really. I'm the only one that gets tilted in that team. Being real with you, I was tilted out. You can ask any of them. I was so done after game 1. But no, I just buckled down, played it out. It was okay. Everybody else was fine, especially our top laner. He doesn't normally play with us, so shout out to Yasuke for coming in clutch.
Yeah,
Especially game 2.
absolutely.
He came up huge game 2.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, popping off in game number 3. I have to ask you about the Soraka mid lane. We'll talk about your other interesting champion picks throughout this series. A real champion ocean for you here. What's the thought behind the Soraka mid lane? You don't have to give too much away if you don't want to. But we were very surprised to see it. It worked out really well. Just what are your thoughts? What are the team's thoughts?
I've been playing a lot of enchanters with the team recently. So I've played mostly Karma, I believe. But I can usually pull out the Soraka. It's not like it used to be, back like a couple months ago when it was just super brokey, you blind pick it in anything. It's not like that anymore. It's really only safe when you're not gonna get dove early game. So if you're up against something like a Jarvan, in the jungle, it's really hard. It's a really hard matchup because you kind of want to be constantly shoving and going for poke. And against a Jarvan, you can't do that. But I felt against Victor, and just the fact that I didn't think they were gonna pick a super aggressive jungler after Volibear was off the table, I felt it was fine to pick and just kind of scale up with the Victor.
Was the plan always to go for the Soraka in the mid lane situation? I know you picked it last in that game. Like, was that the plan going into the draft or just after the ban phase? Because we saw Twitch Lulu and we were kind of like, oh, that's a pretty strong lane. Was it kind of always the plan to just do a protect the Twitch comp, or was that kind of you saw their picks and then decided, hey, we can pick Soraka here?
Well, we were definitely going to once you Twitch Lulus are a really, really, really strong bot lane, especially after you get 2 items on the Twitch with Bork and Runins. It's always really strong. And so whenever I see that, whenever I see a late game AD carry like Twitch or Vayne with a Lulu or a Nami in the bot lane, I normally think I can really go for something like Karma or Soraka. And Karma is normally a lot safer too. You can blind pick it into mostly anything. And even then, even if you don't have a super scaling AD carry, it's still pretty good. But yeah, that draft, once the draft was coming together and their team didn't look super aggressive, especially Ezreal Zyra, it's not like a super aggressive lane, so I didn't think my bot lane was gonna get dumpstered. I didn't think I had to do anything. There's nothing I can really do against the Victor. He's just gonna wave clear no matter which champion I pick. So I was going into it after the Victor pick. I was like, I think Soraka would be good here. So yeah, I just picked Soraka.
Did you think about Echo at all? Like, I feel like the drawback for Victor is the lack of wave clear, and if you have someone that can go in, I mean, your Echo was solid game 1. You got an early lead. But did you just feel like you were just going to play something safe and scaly, or what did you think about that?
I didn't really consider the Echo, mainly just because after the first half of the draft, I was pretty set on just going with something safe,
Right.
not dying and making it delayed game, which is why I went with the Soraka over anything else. And maybe I could have gone for something for a little more pressure, like maybe a Syndra or an Echo. I actually don't remember if it was banned or not. But I mean, no, I didn't consider. About halfway through the draft, I kind of set on Soraka really, and again, especially after the Victor pick, I was like, I just don't need to do anything.
Makes sense. Tell me about your Aurelia pick. So, I'm a mid lane main myself, and when I see Aurelia, I think, level 1, level 2, that's where all the pressure is, and then the game eases up, and I keep her down, and I can kind of smack her around late game if she doesn't get fed. You didn't get a lot of traction in level 1, level 2 the way I expected, but we're a monster late game, even without, any early kills. So, tell me what you thought into the Syndra, and how you felt like the lane went, and what you felt about that game.
So you're right. At level 1, it's actually pretty easy to trade with Syndra. Her spheres don't do a ton of damage, and they cost a fair amount of mana after the nerf now. So normally you're right. As Aurelia, you can set up for a really early trade level 1, or set up the wave so that once you ding level 2, you can get your passive fully stacked and go for an E-stun and just try to solo kill the Syndra.
Right.
But I thought they were gonna invade in that game, and they did. So we just stacked in the bottom bush, and I got a 3-man stun. So it made going for any pressure level 1 really hard, because Syndra is a strong laner. And especially because she's ranged, she has a lot of priority over the wave in the first one if I don't have Q, which I didn't. So she could just stand in the middle, she could auto me, I would take too much damage. So she was going to ding level 2 first, and once she dings level 2, it's kind of hard. The wave's going to be stacked, she has stun. So I had to just play it slow early. I really couldn't do anything to about level 4, level 5 if I wanted to. I don't even think I did anything in level 5. So.
No, that makes sense. I actually was DC'd, so I didn't catch the invade. So I missed the early. So the not skilling makes a big difference for sure. But you felt comfortable, and you felt like you were going to scale into the late game?
No, the Syndra played the lane really well. So it was kind of scary. There's definitely a decent chance I was going to fall behind, especially after not being able to do anything in the early levels after the invade. I got a kill on Volibear though when he tried to dive me, and I got one other kill at some point in the lane. So I wasn't super far behind, and then Aurelia, like if she ever gets going, she could be really oppressive. And so the fact that my early game wasn't punished too much, and then I was able to get some kills that kind of brought me more in line. I was able to just kind of wait, get my Bork, and then get Merc Treads, and then after Bork and Merc Treads, yeah, it's pretty easy. Just kind of run at the Syndra. I can even miss stun and sometimes get the kill. So.
Got it. What do you think about the Zoe game?
That was rough. I didn't have fun. I got
You drew a lot of pressure. Let's say that. You drew a lot
of
pressure.
That's exactly what happened. No, definitely, I didn't just start running it down. No, it was okay. It kind of sucks to, like, when you get camped, it feels really bad. But other way, it wasn't too bad. I didn't do too much of it. We scaled decently well into the mid game, and once I get Zanus and I get my my Lost Chapter item, I went GOP that game. Yeah, I have enough mana, I have enough CDR, I can go for long range poke, and I can still do my job. Obviously I'm not one-shotting people, and they were also really tanky, so even anybody could come up and eat a bubble or a Q, and it'd be kind of hard. But like I scaled decently well. Does that took cleanse for some reason?
Yeah.
I don't know what that was about. It relieves a lot of pressure because Ignite does so much, especially early in the game.
Right.
He also went Cleaver second, which I also don't understand, especially because he was farther ahead than I was. So I think he could have done a lot more. I think he blended the lane a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to move kind of a little bit more generally here as we kind of close out this interview. I have a few questions just about moving forward into next season. Obviously, you guys did very well in Season 3. Season 4, you'll be promoted into the Ionian group, so playing with some higher ELO teams. How are you feeling about that? Are you guys feeling nervous? Are you excited to kind of play against better competition? What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm definitely not nervous. I've known everybody here for a while. I like them all. They're all great players. They all talk a lot, which is really nice. It's almost never quiet. No, they're all great. I think we'll do fine when we move up into the next league, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it should be. We look forward to seeing you in that group in the next couple of weeks when that Season 4 gets started. So we'll see how you fare against the higher tiered competition. I'm sure that's always fun. It's always good to play against better players, right? You do want to have a little bit more competition. So yeah, I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for the interview. Is there anything you want to say to your fans out there, your teammates? The floor is yours. What do you want to say?
No, just GG's to Griffin, and God bless my teammates. Like you guys didn't hear the half. I was so tilted after game 1. So like I said, we've known each other for a while, so they knew me, except our top laner. Shout outs again to Yasuke for coming in clutch. But yeah, no, just GG's. It was fun, and I look forward to next season.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the interview, gentleman Joby, and we look forward to seeing you in those future games. But for now, we are going to close out the broadcast for the evening. It's been a long series of games, the longest series we've had so far here in the playoffs up to this point. So I hope you guys enjoyed the 4 games, but that is going to do it for us today. We will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time with Gomi Clash Gang versus Red Lotus in the finals of their group. So be sure to check out that. That will be a best of 5 brought to you by myself and Axman87 on the color commentary. So be sure to check that out. We hope to see you then. As for us, if you want to find out more about us, you can do so at the Discord, which is linked below the stream. You can also find our website, YouTube, and music credits. If you want to follow us on Twitter, I will put our Twitter handle in the chat as well. It's at @StyleEsportsLol, so you can check us out there if you do want on Twitter and get some updates about when the stream goes live. So check us out at any of those links if you do feel interested. But with that being said, on behalf of myself, my colorcaster Merlin, for our first edition of Merlin Mondays, and our host Ewok365, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow night. Good night.
Thanks, guys. Good night.